Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We can't go out, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man, so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Good morning. Yesterday's show was pretty awesome. I would like to say, Pablo, fantastic host.
Why am I not sitting? Why are you not sitting in Dan's chair?
You are sitting.
Yeah. I am sitting in Stugotz's chair. Domonique, his genitals are just hovering.
Why are you looking at me?
His shorts are so tight.
Yeah, they look good, right? You got to show them quads, baby.
His shorts match his socks and his shoes and his T-shirt. It is a great look.
You like it?
I actually love it. I'm just happy your leg is down.
Do we want Domonique to do a standing desk show the entire time?
Before we digress into foolishness, I would like to say, Cooper Flagg, am I right? That boy was cooking.
You have a crush? You have a crush on Cooper Flagg?
So my brother-in-law introduced me to Cooper Flagg about 2.5 years ago on social media, and I was so impressed because he was tall and athletic. But I did not expect him at 17 years old to be on the select team, giving work to the modern-day dream team. Look at these highlights of Cooper Flagg.
You're gonna narrate all of this Cooper Flagg description without naming some relevant characteristics that make him actually a story that's really worth discussing.
I don't know. The only story that's worth discussing is he's a 17-year-old boy, and he was, by some people's account, the best player in the USA select team versus the USA Olympic team game yesterday, where they only lost by 1, and Cooper was clearly dominant at 17 years old, being defended by Drew Holiday. Get it out the net.
Did you become a man at 18? So he's a 17-year-old boy, but you can be in the NBA and be up at 18, and then you're a man.
Yeah. That's really, it seems like you're asking a question. Like, this is the
hell
law.
Of a transition.
It's the law. Yeah, you're 17.
Just because you have rights when you turn 18, I don't view that as you're ready to.
We can call him a man, a 17-year-old man. The point is, he is incredible, and that's all that matters.
So the U.S. Olympic team, this one, as I gushed about yesterday, is like actually vibratingly impressive. Everyone who's on this,
hell yeah,
super impressive. Love it. Chris, a hell yeah.
He's sneaky athletic to me, Cooper Flagg.
No.
Based on one
sneaks
game,
up on you.
You guys saw one set of highlights. You guys are couch scouts.
Did you not hear? I said I've been watching him since about 2.5 years ago, and I believe that Chris believes he's sneaky athletic because he's like 6'10", which, like, you're not supposed to be that athletic.
Also white.
Oh, huh? What?
Sounds creepy when you say you've been watching 15-year-olds on YouTube.
Fair point. I'm here today. Pablo's sitting in the other chair. We got my buddy David Samson. David and I had an argument last night at dinner. Pablo violated us a number of times at dinner last night.
Fair.
There were a lot of things that happened at dinner last night. We'll get to those at some point, but back to my man Cooper Flagg.
Can Kravitz weigh in? Kravitz is also here.
About Cooper?
He's got a weird jump shot.
Don't do the self-hate. Don't be harder on him.
I have so much in common with Cooper Flagg, athletically and physically.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Kravitz.
I get what you're saying. However, Juju's in the middle, guys. Charlie Kravitz, you guys know him. He's my producer and co-host on my show. Just so everyone knows who is not watching on YouTube live right now.
David Samson called Charlie your safety blanket yesterday.
Shout out. He's Vanilla Snack. That's what the people on the snow call him.
Okay, thank you.
People on the show. So first time. So Charlie's been kind of.
He's Justin Timberfake.
Yeah, he's been a producer for a while, and people would know him. And when you and I did a show together, people saw his hands, but never his face. So people knew of him, but didn't know what he looked like. So the first time he came on the show, social media did got a little excited about how he was handsomer than they expected. So someone called him the vanilla snack on Twitter. So it's stuck. And then someone else called him sugar cookie. These are things that.
But why is he here?
Because he's my dog. What you mean? You don't ride with your dogs? All right.
David, that was
Dogless.
mean. Why is he here?
David Samson is dogless.
I am dogless.
No dog.
I love that Juju's here. I haven't seen Juju since his birthday, and we both agreed that birthdays they're for relaxing now.
Right.
We're past the point.
Right. A lot of salute to everyone who wished me happy birthday. Thank you so much. I'm getting back to the messages. And also salute to all the brothers who reached out during Mental Health Month, Men's Mental Health Month. Brothers, I got like hundreds of messages, so I'm getting to them. I did not forget about you guys. I got y'all in my heart for sure.
I think that there shouldn't be a mental health month anymore. This is my new thing. I think every day. I don't like when it's just that month.
We're going to just clip that part. The way you said.
You can clip whatever you want, but the theory is this, like Father's Day or Mother's Day. I don't agree with it. You should be a good father every day. You should be recognized as being a good father every day, or a good mother, or anniversary. You're just nice to your wife on your anniversary, or you just think about people's mental health during Mental Health Month.
Any thoughts on Black History Month?
Yeah. Right. Black History Month. Why is that?
Oh, I don't think
boy.
I don't think he was agreeing with
Clip
you.
that as well.
Wait, why shouldn't we be dealing and recognizing that every day?
See,
You're right about that part.
I should.
Let's have Christmas every day.
It feels like I have to explain so many things to you. I just want to talk about how nasty Cooper Flagg is. That's all I
You
want
want
to
to celebrate
about.
White History Month?
Like the reason why
Is that every month?
We'll get back to Cooper Flagg. I will help you out once again, as I did yesterday, teaching you something new in every segment. Like the point.
Right. I'm going to take notes.
You should.
Okay, I'm ready.
The point is because these things are not acknowledged. That's why you have these special. It's more likely to they aren't. The point of having Black History Month.
David is writing down. Don't say that we should eliminate Black History Month.
The point of having a Mother's Day and Father's Day is because, yes, maybe you're right. Every day you should appreciate and celebrate, but people don't. That's the point.
So you need a Hallmark holiday to appreciate your mom?
To remind you that you should say yes.
You think you're on the right side of this? Am I really on am I
not.
so out of it that I'm on the wrong
Well,
side
David,
of
it's
this?
like the easiest stance ever, like what you're doing. It's like Hulk Hogan cupping his hand to his yes.
But no
we should
one
be
does
nice
it.
to moms every day. We should
I do.
pay the teachers every day.
Pay the teachers.
Did you see that step back? Ooh, the dream shake on the baseline. Cooper is nasty.
Do you think he'll make the NBA?
Are you...
For sure.
Okay, can
number
one.
Can I have a thought? Can I do this? Is this okay? I'm so sorry for everybody
you guys
involved.
are done.
David Samson,
Something, man.
I'm so sorry, big brother. That might be a penalty box move. I'm
Yeah.
not sure the authority
Yeah.
of when Dan
Juju
ain't
does
here.
have a tiny Larry O'Brien trophy, which I think gives him the capacity to
feel me?
penalize
18.
David Samson.
You don't think that there's a road that
So no.
he still has to go through?
No.
So, okay, I happen
If
to
he was eligible for the draft
guaranteed
today-
players.
Okay, you said make the NBA. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Maybe not. But is he going to make
Are
the
you
NBA?
wishing
People
a
are already
catastrophic injury upon Cooper?
No,
Cooper
I'm
Flagg?
saying that premature celebration I've never been a big fan of.
You just said you wanted to celebrate
This-
everything all the time.
Exactly.
The whole thing is the celebration is not premature.
This is like Caitlin Clark's celebration going #1 to Indiana in February.
This is not a premature celebration. I'm celebrating how well he played in these games this weekend. It's shocking to me. You don't think it's impressive? The same way that yesterday you said it's not impressive that Joey Chestnut drank a gallon of milk in 13 seconds because it was 2% milk. You're trying to pretend like him cooking the best team ever assembled is not impressive. They lost by 1 point because AD got a block. It's impressive. He's 17 years old, Mr. Sampson. It's impressive.
You think they were firing on all cylinders, the Olympic team, like this was a NBA Finals type game?
Where's the penalty box
David
button?
Samson is
Who
trying to
has
take
it?
Cooper Flagg's pension now.
That's a
you
nice callback.
Let's just be happy for him. He's all right. I will indulge. I'm Chris. He's white. That's also pretty cool.
If you couldn't tell by the name Cooper Flagg
I have a theory that I want to roll out to you
that
guys
he
a
was
little bit.
created in an algorithm for whitest names possible.
I think that Cooper Flagg is from Maine.
Of
I
course
think
he is.
No way.
Celtics fan, by the way.
Shout out Celtics in Maine and Cooper Flagg. I think it's possible that Cooper Flagg would not be a great basketball player if he was born in a state that's not quite like Maine. Maybe the state that I'm from. If he was born in Maryland, that boy would have been a lacrosse player or a pitcher or something else. They'd have found him and said, oh, stop dribbling that thing. Get over here and see how this little white ball feels to you.
You think he doesn't play baseball?
That's a fair point. But he would not have been allowed to mature into the great basketball player that he is because of the inherent racism in the way that we scout athletes. The same reason why we don't got no white corners. There's a corner I've been on for a long time, pun not intended, that there are plenty of little white slot receivers that could play corner, but they don't get the chance because coaches are a little bit racist, as we all are a little bit racist.
But at 6'8", they're going to put him on a basketball court somewhere. You
They're
don't
gonna-
think?
I
But
think
would they let him handle the ball? Like the thing about Cooper Flagg is I want vanilla
Hold on.
snack. What?
okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the reason why Cooper Flagg is the projected number 1 overall pick in next year's draft, and the reason he would have been the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, is because he has one of these futuristic all-around skill sets.
Right.
That is a function of being able to handle the ball, shoot the ball, dunk the ball. I don't know how good he is defensively.
He's a freak athlete. He's going to block so many shots in college next year.
But like White Wemby, that is the promise of Cooper Flagg.
More fluid Jason Tatum.
Yeah, he's
Well,
not
I'm
as
about
tall
to
as
say
Wemby.
White Wemby was rich. Like, whoa. That's too far.
Yeah, he's not that
That's
tall.
the promise
But I think
of
Jason.
him.
Well, I mean, he's not going to turn it out to be 7'5". But yeah, I think Jason Tatum's probably more accurate. Seeing him next to Jason Tatum, he's about the same size already and has a lot of the same moves aside from the like 2-part jump shot.
Isn't it funny though that the kid is 7 feet tall and is like, that's a little small.
It's not. He's a little small. I said he was 6'10".
And he hasn't done anything yet.
Wait, we let you stay.
Do we have the David Samson clip that I called for earlier?
I think that there shouldn't be a mental health month anymore.
What's the jurisdiction on his penalty box?
I know.
Can we send his ass over?
trying,
Seriously,
man.
Pablo.
I think
That's really what you're going to cut?
I think the tribe has spoken.
We've got a minor penalty for derailing.
Come on, chop.
I'm going.
Thank you, sir.
Nice legs, though, brother. Very nice legs.
Juju, thank you, man. I had forgotten that I had that authority. I appreciate it. So I dare you guys. Let's go through a list of greatest American white basketball players. I want to know where they all from because I don't think you're gonna find one from Atlanta. I don't think you're gonna find one from DC. It ain't happening. I'm telling you.
Where is Chet Holmgren from? 'Cause I think
Minnesota.
Boom. Give it to him.
that's pretty good.
All right.
Larry Bird, French Lick, Indiana.
Give it to him.
Jerry West, rural West Virginia.
Tell him snack. Tell him snack.
Kevin McHale, Minnesota.
Bop, 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 bop.
That's about it. Bill
Dirk
Walton.
Nowitzki, Germany.
Yeah. Give it to him. What about Luka? Slovenia.
Tyler Hero.
Wisconsin.
Ra-ta-ta-ta.
Damn, this is a good theory.
Stockton, Spokane, Washington.
Woo!
Jokic, Serbia. Sorry,
Serbia?
I made it a Z.
Oh, man. Are you thinking about the
know
tennis
what I did
guy?
there. Yeah.
Zverev? Is that what you're thinking about?
That guy's a jerk.
Yeah, he is a jerk.
Did y'all see Sarek and Zubac get into it yesterday? I think Sarek got put in the dope fiend.
Can you explain that fight for people who did not see that video out of, I believe, Greece? Was Greece where that happened?
Right. It looked like a Vegas-style club, but they got it. It started right into the action, so you just see him tussling with somebody. Then you pan over, and Sarek's just on the ground laid out until a nice brother let him up.
There it is. We got
Just
the
some
video.
giant whites tussling.
It's so long. I don't know how you cannot, like, how you can be a bad fighter at that size. Like, you got the reach, you got the strength and endurance, but I guess maybe you get outnumbered.
Not a lot of practice, too, because no one's going at you.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Alex Caruso?
Oh, you're on this like a dog with a bone, huh?
I'm testing the sociology that we're proposing on this show.
They're probably
College Station, Texas.
Damn. Damn. He does that Aggie dance? Yeah, that's
I mean, we have to. Now I feel like I want to go the other way. We have to find. There has to be like
Who is the best white American player from the blackest place?
A major metropolitan area, I guess I would say.
Bob Cousy.
The Coos?
Your high school, Pablo, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, he's from Manhattan.
He's from Manhattan?
Yeah,
the Coos?
The Coos is from Manhattan. Chris Mullin, also a New York guy.
Chris Mullin. Yeah, Chris Mullin, if you listen to Chris Mullin, it does sound like he was the process of a cultural exchange very early, actually.
I think, Chris Mullin, that's impressive. Bob Cousy, I don't know. There might have been some other factors involved.
Cross College, Andrew Jackson High School.
Gotta respect the Coos, man.
The last white guy from Atlanta, Jim Fox. He was a 6'10" player from Atlanta, Georgia, and he went to high school in Barnesville, Georgia. Salute to Gordon College.
Wow.
Imagine what it was like to be Cooper Flagg in Maine growing up. I imagine that he was regarded like a god.
Yeah, have you seen Jesus Shuttlesworth visit Rick Fox's school in He Got Game?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening.
Loving basketball on my T-shirt today.
But I do think Cooper Flagg, when he gets to the NBA, is going to be he is the answer to a question which has been plaguing the NBA from a marketing perspective for a really long time, which is where the hell did all of our white American boys go? Now they
Can we cut that clip?
God damn it.
I don't know that it's hurt the NBA from a marketing standpoint.
What?
I don't. I mean, I think.
How are you more optimistic about this than I am? I don't know that this has been a massive vacuum when it comes to how the NBA sells itself since Larry Bird.
Yeah, and I guess maybe that's why I don't see it as an issue, because I didn't grow up in a world where it mattered. As long as you had, and maybe there's different rules when it comes to xenophobic views of it, but as long as you had an American star that was doing incredible things.
Zerbian xenophobia.
Damn it.
The American public would love it. So the NBA's, the heyday of the NBA, we think about Jordan, and there was not a real Stockton hive out there. There's just not something that we ever felt like we needed. And maybe with the globalization of basketball, we'll get to a point where we don't feel like we even need an American star to be fans of this game. But I don't think that there's an absence, or we feel an absence of a white American basketball star.
I think what we're going to get is not exactly by any means what Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA, but I think it's going to be its own iteration of it. Because I'm just far more bullish on the idea of I think the biggest counter-argument, Domonique, to why is Cooper Flagg not going to be a sensation fully realized as the white American star is simply because he is a giant. And I wonder if that's too tall actually in terms of relatability. But other than that, the dude is going to be this messianic figure for I think a lot of people in the way that Caitlin Clark was at a lighter level.
What if he's Sean Bradley?
Here we go. Where the button?
What?
I'm willing to bet you $1 American that he will not be Sean Bradley.
I think that so sometimes it's tough when we try to analogize different sports because there's a lot of different contexts in it that I think matters a lot more. The WNBA's size and also the history of the WNBA is very different than the NBA. It's going to be hard for Cooper Flagg to become the same type of figure, and he's not going to represent that same thing. So while I do recognize, and I'm sure that Chris is probably an example that could speak to this, or I could speak to it myself also, when you have someone who looks like you doing something in a sport or in any industry where there aren't many people like that, I became a Tiger Woods fan.
Great Asian American athlete, Tiger Woods.
Both of us. We can high five over that. I never watched the golf before that, but I became a fan. So I suspect that there will be some of that with Cooper Flagg, but I don't think it'll be nearly on the Caitlin Clark's level, and it won't be the main story. No one's going to care.
The main story. It will be the main story.
And then, yeah.
I think Caitlin Clark is obviously going to be an order of magnitude greater than Cooper Flagg. I just think when Chris says Zerbia, it reminds me of how it's remarkable that the foreign white guy does not read as one of them being Chris, I guess, broadly speaking. I think that's just
Make one mistake. I mean, jeez.
I think that's been a noted sociological phenomenon that there's a foreignness to the former to the Balkans and the Baltics. What are you chuckling about?
I think that there shouldn't be a mental health month anymore.
That's funny.
That's what I'm chuckling about. That is where we've gotten to from this entire morning. When Domonique starts, you understand that we're all off our game when we're looking at his sack in the 4 minutes leading up to the start of the show.
Hey,
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, it's your choice. Your
Gets me
eyes,
ready.
Your eyes, your choice, buddy. Like,
I was trying to be protective of you.
Oh, my sack don't need protection. I'm good, baby. We're fine.
It for sure needs protection.
LeBron James said that
Thank you.
Bronny does not give a F about the criticism. What do you guys think of that? Is that a malarkey or is it?
Would you know your son well enough to say that? I have a son, and I would not be willing to say what he is sensitive to and what he's not sensitive to.
I believe nobody resembles that description. The idea that he doesn't care about anything anyone says is not true of literally anybody that I've ever met, heard of, known, read about, experienced.
Except Bronny.
I think LeBron's doing a lot.
Yeah.
I think LeBron. What was actually most fascinating?
I would say it's unlikely. However, none of us can say that we've had the experience that Bronny has had. It's different. You probably feel differently about criticism if from the day you were born, your father and your family has been under a particular spotlight. So if it's possible, someone who was born in that darkness might be comfortable in that darkness more so than the rest of us. I think it's hugely unlikely, but that's the argument for it.
But it's also him speaking for Bronny yet again while saying Bronny's his own person.
I thought the most fascinating part about that quote was actually LeBron kind of admitting to something that lots of us who've covered LeBron or just been around sports media have known, which is that LeBron is the opposite. LeBron basically said in that same quote, I'm somebody who does listen. I'm somebody who does care what people say. When I was coming up, to Domonique's point, as the first of his kind, he was litigating with the press, was managing his reputation from the very beginning.
He was the next of his kind. I don't like that we always say this is the first of his kind.
No, because I think it's the internet era that is the thing that certainly separates, and the sports TV 24/7 aspect of it, David, that separates Michael from LeBron. And I think the question then is, like, how different is the world that Bronny has entered from a media perspective than the world that LeBron entered and dominated?
He was on the cover of your magazine. I think it was under the Chosen one when he was, how old was he, 16?
For those who don't know LeBron James, he was Cooper Flagg before Cooper Flagg.
He was a black Cooper Flagg.
What kind of flag?
You're telling me that Cooper Flagg is the next. This is what the scouting report is? All right, I guess I'm wrong. He's the next LeBron James.
He's not the next LeBron James, but he's been kind of picked as the obvious number one for a number of years now. He's a guy that's good enough to tank for. Like, he's going to be really good.
There's tanking for Cooper happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Even though you can't tank for the number one pick anymore.
Poop for Coop.
You can poop for Coop. You can get a higher percentage. Like,
That's
obviously.
it.
Yeah. Which is still
He's probably a Durant or Anthony Davis level prospect going into college basketball as an earnest take of how good he is.
I just think that Bronny James grows up. He chooses to play basketball. He's good at it. He's a college player. He's drafted. He understands the business of pressure. I just think that he doesn't want his father to talk to him for him anymore. And I noticed it during the opening press conference. I noticed it again yesterday. At some point, you say to your dad, all right, I got this now.
Agreed. He's not at that point yet. I mean, I don't think that there will come a point when I think everyone has to kind of fully be their own man. And for most kids, it's not after their freshman year of college. So, like, get off of everybody's back, Samson.
But isn't LeBron just making it worse by continuing to make this a story? Like, just stop talking about Bronny and people will forget about it, the way the news cycle works.
You should just say what David Samson said.
I think that there shouldn't be a mental health month anymore.
Impeccable.
Got a little surprise from my man, Pablo.
Where the hell did all of our white American boys go?
I'll tell you. They're in the quarters of Wimbledon.
Wow, what a professional segue as Kravitz and Domonique celebrate.
So we got two guys in the quarterfinals. One of them feels like right now kind of a bit of my man Tommy Paul. I got to be honest with you. I'm a big Carlos Alcaraz fan. He might be one of the most explosive athletes I've seen who's not playing defensive back in the NFL. He's incredible. He's going up against Tommy Paul, and Tommy Paul's an American, and I have to kind of pretend like I want Tommy to win because he's an American. But honestly, at 9:15 or 10 o'clock, whenever this match actually starts, I'm in on Big Los. King Los going to give him the business.
Do you feel that you're not being patriotic if you don't root for the American in that case? I never thought that way. Aren't you rooting if you like Alcaraz, you should want him to win?
I do. That's what I just said.
I was wondering that too. Like, and is there a difference in the Olympics, for example? Like, if you're rooting against America in the Olympics, is that unpatriotic? Yes. Like, is that where the line is? Like, I can root against American athletes in other competitions, but if it's the Olympics, I need to root for my country no matter what. Also, why does Puerto Rico have a team?
Whoa. Put it right there with the Samson quotes. You are on Team Samson.
Damn.
It's a territory.
It's a territory.
But I mean.
So I believe here's from an Olympic standpoint, the Olympics were a really big thing during the Cold War when you really felt, you want America to win everything because it was an FU to the CCCP. That's that USSR. But now I think it's much less so. I think now that the Cold War is gone for all intents and purposes, I feel less guilty during the Olympics. I wouldn't find it outrageous to root for Giannis if I were a Milwaukeean, which I am, and root for Greece to beat the U.S. in basketball.
I root against Berhalter and them boys. Like, I heard Mike talking, I was like, yeah, I hope they lose to get him up out of here.
Is there
Berhalter or Mike?
It's not Mike. I love you, Mike, wherever you are. You have my heart.
Is there anything that can happen to make you root for? Because I got to be honest, when Usain Bolt was out there riding, like, I kind of wanted him to break the records. I kind of wanted him to win. I kind of wanted him to keep being awesome. So, like, you weren't rooting for Usain Bolt? Or you didn't feel you were rooting for patriotism?
I don't feel it. I was rooting for patriotism.
So you wanted him to lose. You wanted him not to break the world record. You wanted somebody else to get it.
No. I actually didn't think of it in those terms. I like seeing records broken for sure.
But this is the most American position, to be so secure in yourself as a country that you don't care about the Olympics in the way these other countries do.
Used to.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that when you talk about, yes, in the Cold War, Russia, the former Soviet Union, cared so deeply about all of this, expressing greatness through sports, that it was your primary way of expressing dominance against your aspirational rivals, the countries you wanted to be on the same level as, such as the United States.
I mean, it still matters. It's like when the Olympics were in China and when the Olympics were in Russia, they made a great point to try to build up these teams.
Yes.
Their entire governments, in many cases, are complicit in doping scandals because they believe that sports and like some personal value and affinity for your country, like it's very much matters
more to them than America.
Now. It's happening now. I mean, look. So to Dominique's point, like if you didn't see Icarus, the Netflix documentary,
watch it.
Yeah, state-sponsored doping scandal resulted in Russia being ousted and then re-entered underneath what was it called? The Russian
with no flag.
The Russian Olympic team or committee.
It's
Russian
insane.
Olympic. The episode side note, but related directly to the episode we just did today on Pablo Torre Finds Out, is about how the most corrupt sport is fencing, and fencing has been corrupted by a Russian oligarch. In the present tense. One of the 100
Did they do steroids? I didn't watch your episode yet.
It's about a refereeing crisis in which half of the top 20 referees in the world, allegedly, in saber fencing have been corrupted and flip matches according to bribery and favors and geopolitical incentives, which is all to say that this stuff is so real right now to lots of other places that when it trickles into America, it's kind of like, whoa.
I mean, Michael Phelps spoke to Congress about the doping
in China.
Yeah, the Chinese doping scandal with their swimmers. So it's something that matters to a lot of different countries. But I guess this is an admission that I don't have to make. But I guess I assume that other people had this feeling also. But I think it kind of depends on what you identify as first. But when I was a kid and I was watching the Olympics, I was rooting for the black folk. if America didn't have a black dude, I was rooting for the black dude. And it wasn't like 6, 7, 8 years old. I remember like at that age watching sports and was like, hey, root for the black dude.
Were you the exact age of Cool Runnings of the Jamaican bobsled team?
The movie.
Not the actual. Am I off on years? Is that really a long time ago?
In David's defense, this was, I don't know when it happened in reality, but certainly the movie was 93, and I was 8 at the time.
I mean, this does tie into the Cooper Flagg conversation, and it is about identity, and it is about some level of personal pride, and you see yourself in the athletes that are out there. And as we watched, like, the Euros specifically is, like, mind-blowing to me.
It's so funny to see
go
this.
ahead.
No, just because every empire, France, Spain, like England,
yeah.
the players that are now the stars of those teams are the colonized products of empire. And it's just funny that you can, anyway, it's very complicated for that reason. There are lots of teams, by the way. The Philippines World Cup women's soccer team was assembled basically in America because there weren't enough good, like, native Filipino women. And so they assembled all of these part Filipina people from around the world, and it got to be a successful experiment. And then, most recently this year, disbanded because it wasn't actually enough of the country in the minds of the people in the country. Yeah. Because this is the dynamic of, like, is this really us, is the question, I think, underneath all of it.
I mean, that's interesting to me that they disbanded it because there was some pushback, because my assumption is if you're winning, you don't care.
I was furious.
Yeah, like most people are like, well, they can represent us as long as they make their penalties. As soon as they miss them penalties, they are all the slurs, right?
Because we're all just after the win. It doesn't really matter. The World Baseball Classic, they put the Team Israel together. You know, if you're anywhere Jewish, anywhere, or you can be on the Italian team if you've had, gone to Carbone. You can be on Team Italy for the World Baseball Classic. And so it's done for the purpose of putting the best team possible together, which I think is how it should always be.
Also, why does Puerto Rico have a team? I mean,
let me get Tony Perez on the phone and see if he has a view of that.
Tony Perez is Cuban.
He would not view himself that way. I think I've asked Tony that. I think he would say he's Puerto Rican.
Carbone is an Italian restaurant that we went to dinner at last night, and it is like a caricature. So it's delicious. It's incredible. When I go to New York, I go there all the time. I've been with Charlie. I go with my wife, go by myself, and we went last night to the Carbone in Miami. The food is delicious, but when you walk in, they got like a playlist, and it's just like 3 songs on repeat that were in Goodfellas. It's outstanding.
I thought I was going to get whacked, actually. I had not been there in Miami, and I didn't like how I felt. I felt like I needed to sit, so I chose, if you notice, where I sat at the table.
So David will enter a restaurant, not just the one that is playing Mafia cosplay, and he will choose the seat that is most defended if he were to suffer an assassination attempt.
It's just I need the ability to escape. I need the ability. I can't.
It's not a joke.
No, this is.
Me and David are the same person on a lot of fronts, except a lot of fronts.
Who's coming after you?
I mean,
Like, who do we think is going to murder
Did you
us?
listen to the show yesterday?
Yeah. Of all the people at the dinner, I would say most killable.
Most killable?
This is a Greg Cody move, too, of, like, he always likes, I don't know if it's, like, escape, but it's, like, I need to see. He always wants to have his back. Like, he wants to be facing the entrance. So, like, wherever the front door is, I need to be looking that way.
Yeah.
So me and my family, what we do is we try to get there first, so he has only the seat not facing. That's like
you don't show him the respect.
No, we do. It's like a fun game to
like.
It's a fun game to go to the seats, have him be like, "Oh, can I?" And then we make him feel bad. It's just a fun game.
I don't worry about being actually assassinated.
Oh.
I feel trapped all the time in my life, and I like the ability to see everything that's happening, so I can see all escape routes, and I can plan what can be my next move. So, like sitting inside a booth. Like at a coffee shop where there's a 4-person booth, you'd never see me on the inside of that booth. How do you get out?
So you're an aisle seat guy? You're a private jet guy.
Do I have priority check-in?
No, you're an
Oh my
aisle
gosh.
seat guy?
Yes.
He said
If I'm flying with somebody, I'll sit on the window.
you're PJ, bro.
He also is, yes.
I don't know what you mean.
Flying private. PJ.
No.
Why?
I have.
So much judgment on the PJ. What's
He's
wrong
worried
with
about
PJ?
the carbon footprint.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay, good. Glad
More
we cleared
carbon
that up.
problems from cows than private jets.
I have a question for you guys about
Sounds
the
like a real
Olympics.
PJ guy statement, but
Yeah.
we move on.
So, did you guys see that the Olympics, like I guess in like the athlete village or whatever, they weren't air conditioned because they were worried about the emissions. And then Team USA is like, nah, we're gonna take our own AC units anyways.
Smart.
Yeah.
I think so that feels like something that is like performative, like
It's a Europe thing. There's not a lot of air conditioning in Europe.
What's the deal with what's the deal?
They don't care.
They do not care.
They keep the
about
windows
air
open.
conditioning.
There are people in Europe that if they have air, they put it on just at night for a few hours, but they're happy at 81, 82 Fahrenheit.
My father-in-law must be from Europe.
can I
Man, you go over that house. It's just I always give my wife the look. Turn that thing down.
Is he from Serbia?
You.
The Balkans.
I started last night's dinner pretty annoyed with Pablo.
Yeah, you're welcome, by the way.
Oh yeah, so first of all, as anyone who knows Pablo and our relationship knows that Pablo has a history of not paying when we go do anything. He paid last night, so I'm proud of you. Thank you so much.
Dan paid.
All jokes aside. Oh, you charged it to the game?
Yes.
I have not.
Don't charge it to
Yes.
the
His
His
game,
eyebrows
man.
went up when you said that. Like Pablo's gonna charge it.
You have it wrong.
Don't charge it to the game, baby.
I have not done anything.
He is 100% expensing
I'll
that
have
meal.
you know. Hey, John.
Triple E slanderer.
John, no business was done last night. Let him know, Skippy.
So much business. was
So
done
much
last
business was
I
done.
do believe, my treat. I do believe I will pay for that.
Well, in that case. Let me tell you what Pablo, and I'll let you guys be the judge of this
night.
situation.
The menus were so large, like
Don't
the
change the
largest
subject.
menus in the
Oh,
world.
So you're admitting that you were wrong.
No, I'm admitting that it was a very nice
Cheesecake
thing
Factory
to go to this.
level?
I mean, literally, like
Bigger.
the size of the menu.
Love
Love
they're
that
bigger.
reference. Bigger.
It was like opening up a poster board.
Thinner. It's only 2 pages.
Because
Cheesecake.
cheesecake's actually not that big, but it's
Yeah,
just
it's
58
the-
Very
book.
thick. It's too much.
So this is what happened.
Hate that.
Yesterday after the show, which again, Pablo, you did a great job hosting. Sullivan, incredible job finding the guests. The video team, outstanding. Like yesterday, I thought was a really good show, especially for the first time we were all together.
We agreed to do a back alley milk chug
We did.
with Nick Cirillo, who David Samson fired and took his pension away.
After the show, you're not going to derail me from this. After the show, we Pablo said, you want to go to dinner later? And Charlie and I are like, sure. And Pablo said, I got a lot of work to do, and pointed to Charlie and asked Charlie to make reservations. Charlie said, okay. So Charlie and I went to lunch, and during the lunch, Charlie was looking on Resi, and Charlie and I were talking. You know, Pablo's kind of a restaurant snob, so he actually put a good deal of effort showing me restaurants. You think Pablo like this, you think like this, before he finally selected a restaurant. And so we get back, it's around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and Charlie sends a message to the group chat with the Resi reservation at a very fine restaurant.
To which I just responded, okay.
And I did too.
Yes, you did.
And
It
Pablo,
was okay. It was
Nope,
totally
not
okay.
to you.
and Pablo,
Totally okay.
30 minutes later, said, I just texted my friend, see if we can get us a table at Carbone.
That's not
He didn't
exactly
say that.
what happened.
That's not exactly what happened. He
It's in the
actually
text.
said, if you check it, because he didn't mention the name of the restaurant.
Okay.
What he said is, I may have a connect to a better restaurant. Would you be open to
Not
that?
what I said either.
What a lame look at me, Louis whack maneuver.
The maneuver was
To call it a connect, too, is
I-
very wild.
none of this happened.
It all
Nasty
happened.
work.
If
None
only
of
this was
happened.
documented.
It's in the
It
text.
is documented, and I'm happy to read it.
Don't make me
And you
scroll.
know you have it too.
Don't make me
So
scroll.
not to interject too much, but I would like to add that when Pablo assigned the restaurant picking, me and Domonique both were like, "Are you sure?
Yes.
You're going to be the one who actually wants to pick the restaurant." And
That-
you're like, "I am too busy. I have grandiose plans recording
I mean,
PTFO."
Charlie and I have, and David too, I think we got real like husband type energy where it's like, I ain't gonna fight over that. Where we going? Cool. I'm down. Here's the credit card. Let's eat. Pablo, not as much husband
Very
energy.
high maintenance.
Yeah.
I don't-
There's always
I
one
don't-
in a group.
Yeah.
I don't see-
Which is
I don't
fine.
see
Which is
husbandry.
fine. If you want to be that person, then pick the gosh darn restaurant. And don't have my man stressing trying to make sure that he can accommodate you, and then
You know
wait,
what?
and then wait because you had texted your boy before that. Your connect. As soon as you text
Why
your
are we
connect,
putting scare quotes around a word I never said? I would
soon
never say that.
As soon as you text your connect, you text us, hey, working on a reservation. My bad. Charlie, you off the hook.
I need
it.
the exact phrasing.
I
on
asked,
the Connect.
this is, quote, I asked a friend about a reservation at a good restaurant.
A connect.
Damn
If
close
that
to
comes
what I
through,
said.
there's no penalty to cancel this other restaurant, right?
There is a
Question mark?
penalty.
See, just say let's cancel it. That's the part that's annoying there. Of like, you guys cool? If we change, it's
I
like
didn't have the reservation yet.
That's not the
guys.
part. That is annoying.
It may turn out to be nothing, to be honest. This reservation helps immensely. Thank you, Charlie.
I'm trying to manage the feelings of these quote-unquote husbands.
So
Do
ridiculous.
you know why Domonique's actually mad?
Because Pablo was late?
No, he's going to Carbone again on Wednesday.
Exactly.
did say
He's getting
that.
double boned.
He's getting double boned, and he had white pants on. He was afraid of
just a road trip.
soiling his white pants with expensive-ass Italian meatballs, which were delicious.
You didn't even order the meatballs. Again, speaking of your lack of husband energy, Pablo arranged this so we get to the table.
I did kind of panic at the ordering
It's
stage.
family style. So like, all right, and Pablo, you arranged this. So pick out what we gonna get.
You got
Set
you
it
guys
up,
like,
Pablo.
You guys like family style? It was very stressful. It
And
was
so
very
Pablo
stressful.
goes to the restaurant. He orders a bunch of stuff. No damn meatballs. Top 3 things on the Carbone menu is the meatballs. And I said, excuse me, miss, could you go ahead and put a little meatballs on there? Because I don't want these. They came here. Some people never been here. They may never come back. They don't need some meatballs.
If anybody wants some lasagna verde, I have like 3 pounds of it in my fridge, by the way.
You took the leftovers?
I'm a Golden Corral guy myself.
Yeah, me too, brother.
I thought the experience was delightful, other than the fact that Pablo was late.
My pre-dinner was at Bubba Gump Shrimp.
It was late.
Pablo was late.
You guys late. You're all staying in the same place, aren't you? Why
I
don't
got
you go
downstairs
together?
Claimed
at
elevator.
6:57 p.m. and it was 6:55 as appointed.
I got down
That's
there
late.
at 6:50. Samson got down there at 6:53. Charlie got down there at 6:55. You after that.
And Chris after that, might I add.
No respect.
Who works for you.
My producer,
No
Chris.
respect. And Chris's
Guys, there's a
defense.
table for 5.
I didn't even know I went.
It wasn't. It was a PTFO. You may not know. One of the
No, I do. I was
29
kidding.
people who work for Pablo.
Billy wouldn't have enjoyed it. We talked a lot about Puerto Rico belonging in the Olympics.
I didn't say they didn't belong, but
We actually had a few interesting conversations, one of which was about sports unions, where I was ready to fight David, as I always am, and then he agreed with me.
This
And
was
it
the most shocking thing of the entire evening.
They
was
agreed?
An in-depth discussion about unions in sports between David Samson and Domonique Foxworth that ended up being a startling amount of harmony and agreement.
I was thinking how upset Dan would have been at that dinner, because all he wants is for us to disagree and for there to be issues and problems and everybody fighting in the chaos of it. But the best part about having an intellectual discourse is sometimes you just lay down your king and say, that is a great point. I'm going to think of it that way. You're right. And everybody should do that during conversations. And you don't often do that on the air. But at the restaurant, we both did that.
Oh, no, I ain't laying nothing down. I won. I won
you
at
go.
dinner. I won on the air yesterday. Name a time when I was wrong. I didn't lay down. The king was still standing. I'll have you know.
Can I help explain why you guys actually agreed on stuff, though?
I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me the time I was wrong in a conversation with David Sampson. It's never happened.
Never.
Not once.
You're always right.
I called Jessica Lucy yesterday, but it's not here.
I said in a conversation with David Sampson, I apologize, Jessica Lucy.
I like that you're repping that, Juju. Like you're taking care that we don't possibly sully them.
I like that you're repping the word repping.
I don't. You were explaining something?
So the thing about unions, to both Domonique and David, is, and I don't want to step on the points that you guys want to make here, but it's that the actual key to getting what you want inside of one of these boardrooms where owners are negotiating with players is the mutual recognition that a union actually isn't the best way to accomplish the goals that the players especially might actually have.
I think the point that I was making is that there's a fundamental power asymmetry that is almost impossible to address. Like if you look at the value of 1 percentage point of revenue for the owners, it equates to a larger sum of money over into perpetuity. They hand the teams down to their kids. For the players, it equates to tens of thousands of dollars per player, but which most likely will be eaten up by the most popular players. So, like, if you're arguing that we need to go on strike in order to get what we want, actually, the players who go on strike will not get what they want. Whereas like other unions, police officers union,
Teamsters.
Teamsters, you may be in that job for 20, 30 years. So the sacrifice that you would make in order to get a larger piece of the pie may over time build up to be worth it. And that's the fundamental. Our biggest weapon actually is not a nuclear weapon in the way that we want it to seem, whereas for them, it actually is. And then you compound that by the fact that they have influence in media, and players and owners are both, I think, sensitive to how they're viewed by the fans. But the owners don't get the direct ire from the fans in the way that players do, because one part of that, I would say, is because a lot of people don't know the owners. And the second part of it is American people, frankly, they respect the owners and what the owners have accomplished more than they do the players.
I've seen some owners get some pretty bad press. So, but I would say that you have one problem. As owners get younger, the gulf is going to get even bigger because their time horizons are even longer. When you've got octogenarian owners who have not won a title, they don't want to shut the game down because they don't want to waste another year without a World Series or without an NBA championship. Right. But you're seeing turnover in ownership ranks, and I think that's going to even unbalance the power even more.
And I think also with a lot of the valuations of the teams going up so high, the people who are getting into ownership are collections of people who actually want to make money, which is different than older owners who are in this to win championships. And then
it's a different basis.
Right. I mean, it's a different reason for owning the team. So then the CBA negotiations becomes about making my investment worthwhile, which is different than – so there's a different amount of leverage if you don't care about the thing that I care about as much as I care about.
Well, you're seeing it now because private equity, that's the biggest thing going on right now. With private equity being invested into sports teams, they do not care about anything but ROI. Right. And they can pretend they do in the press conference, but no, the way they make their money, is by making money.
So the question I have then is, what is the actual leverage? What's the most leverage? What is the actual nuclear option for a union, Domonique, when you enter a negotiation against the David Samsons of sports?
Well, the nuclear option is something that's incredibly risky for both sides. It's to decertify the union.
And that would
to disband the union and become association. And that would then expose the league to antitrust laws. Because right now they can exist as a legal cartel because we're protected by a union. All the teams can cooperate. If you disband it, which is how we got free agency in football, is what a lot of people don't know, that the settlement, a part of the settlement was that the NFL required that we reconvene as a union, because that gives them the protection to not expose themselves to treble damages. But the problem is, then you open it up to the legal system, and depends on what judge you get, they might then decide that you're still in the wrong. So it's a real tough place to be in for a union.
You'd have a hard time arguing that the NFL players would be better off not in a union today. Back then, I absolutely understand why that path happened, but the antitrust, as we saw with the lawsuit going on with the NFL right now, over Sunday Ticket, that was really over the antitrust exemption as it relates to broadcasting. And the argument was, is that exemption for over the air? Does it apply to these streaming services? So that is a bigger legal issue that the owners are dealing with, and that impacts players because of the way you share revenue.
Man, what an obnoxious dinner this was last night.
It was something. It wasn't obnoxious. It was.
I loved it.
Here's how I'll fix everything.
It was kind of that, actually. We all sort of said, like, as the greatest representative of the class of people that we work inside of, what would we do? And David Samson, if a union were to decertify, disband, and then enter that process, what would the response be from owners, briefly?
Very briefly, what owners would simply say is, we're going to not do we don't need to do a CBA. Right. We don't need to protect any of the majority of the union, which is the union's meant to protect the bottom. So we're going to just let the bottom people, we're going to let them disappear, and we're only going to deal with the elite. It's a dream, actually.
Yeah, there will be no floor, there'll be no salary cap, there'll be no draft, all the illegal things that you do, there'll be no revenue sharing. So I think that a lot of the smaller market teams would be pissed, the big market teams would be happier.
And then they would declare this.
I think that there shouldn't be a mental health month anymore.
The entire dinner wasn't pretentious. We had some other fun
Talked about
conversation.
fatherhood.
We did talk about fatherhood.
Mistakes that we all have made. Mistakes that we'll probably make.
Yeah, relationships and
Yeah.
going forward, mistakes made there. I would like to say one last thing about our pretentious conversation.
I'm shocked that you want the last word against David Samson.
Not against. Why are they trying to pit us against each other, man?
Well, you do that.
Huh? No, I don't.
You don't need Pablo's help.
I don't do it. I just feel like sometimes you say things that have to be refuted aggressively.
What do you want to refute?
Yes, Domonique.
Nothing. It's nothing that. Good job. You learned from yesterday. I don't want to refute anything. I think that the way that you set up the question about to allow me to get into decertification, I think, was perfect. But I would say that I want to make it clear that I think it's an incredibly risky maneuver. It's something I've been talking about for probably close to a decade now.
Which is a radical take that if I'm given control of the union, I'm going to disband this union.
It was, I mean, it's, yeah. And I think it probably is still, you're at a disadvantage. And also, like, to the point you were making, and I think this could lead us into a conversation about the Sunday ticket suit, is that not only do the players benefit from the protections that the union provide, including a salary floor and benefits and all those sorts of things, but they benefit from the fact that the league is allowed to behave as a cartel in the marketplace, and they can function as one unit in order to do things like sell TV rights, which raises the revenue, which increases the players' salaries. But life is pretty good for a lot of players in professional sports. It's good enough that I think not many of them are interested in taking the risk that they would have to take.
I think it's only good for a few. So I'm interested in you obviously are way more involved in the NFL union. Do you believe that your union is truly represented? The majority of people, I would assume, are at the bottom and don't ever get rich playing football.
Agreed. I think that it is, you're probably right. It's best for the people at the top. The problem is the people at the bottom, the way that, again, and this is very strategic of leagues in general, by creating a max or a minimum salary that changes based on how many years you spent in the league, you force out the guys who aren't great. And you get guys back in the league for 3 more years who will only be in the league for 3 more years. So they do not have the level of cachet or buy-in to be willing to sacrifice enough to get the gains that they need. The people who are in the league long enough and in the union long enough have signed big contracts. And those are the guys who are like, hey, let's blow this all up to fix it for these other guys that we barely even know. Hell no. It's just it speaks to the power dynamics, which are all based on the time horizon in CBA negotiations.
Well, what you're saying there is that because there's a minimum amount of time that you need to have been in the league, employed, to qualify for something like a pension and be vested, you have owners, GMs that are cutting people loose before that if they're not actually worth the extra cost that getting them to the program.
Not exactly,
but say that at all.
Yeah, not exactly. I think the point that I'm making is that in order to, so no one grows up saying, I can't wait to get in the union so I can participate in a CBA negotiation fight or a labor stoppage. They want to get to the NFL to play. So it takes more than 3 to 5 years for guys to understand, whoa, we're not getting a fair shake. And by that time, if you're still in the league, you have like graduated from the group that is getting the short end of the stick to the group that is making enough money that I don't want to create waves. So it's hard to galvanize an entire group when the way that the CBA is structured, there's a divide right down the middle, or not even down the middle. There's there's 25% of the league that's getting caked up. Then everyone else is in and out, a revolving door. I can see Chris falling asleep.
All I'm missing right now is a little spicy rigatoni.
That was pretty good.
And then a little nap right around the
I
corner.
got a little pick-me-up. Billy Gill,
Me?
what's good?
What's good? All my friends are here today.
Nice. Domonique, what's good?
I'm undefeated in debates versus David Samson.
Charlie Kravitz swears that dinner was more interesting than this.
We
Like,
talked
he
about this
told
for
us.
5
I was
minutes.
like,
it was
yeah.
mostly drinking, eating pasta,
Yeah, it was.
hanging out.
I asked him, I goes, this is all dinner yesterday? He's like, this lasted like 5 minutes yesterday. Everyone else, the rest of it was
We
really
got
fun.
to this conversation because I was telling him that one of the biggest mistakes that I felt that I made at the basketball union was just hubris, frankly.
Domonique, they don't want to hear your stories behind the closed doors of how rich people in sports actually operate. They're too sleepy for that, apparently.
Did I tell you about the time LeBron James yelled at me?
It's a great story.
Was
We're
Bronny there?
listening.
We
we want to hear.
We were at Summer League, and so there are rep meetings, and LeBron was on the executive committee, and I was in like the upper management of the union for the basketball team, or for the basketball league.
You were the COO.
Yeah, and so we had a meeting with just them, and it was like Steph, LeBron, Steve Blake was on it, like guys like that were.
Where's Steve Blake from?
Steph, LeBron, Steve Blake.
Louis Button. Steph, LeBron. You're going through like all these people you met with?
Yeah, so anyway, we're in the meeting, and LeBron really wanted to address lifetime medical for players when they retire.
And make sure Bronny was covered?
and I said that we should make sure that the league pays for that. And LeBron was like, no. We'll ask them to pay for it. If they don't pay for it, we'll pay for it. And I was like, well, we're in negotiations, sir. So how about we not just
Mr.
go...
King James,
yeah,
sir?
I mean, I was younger and more arrogant, and so I wasn't like...
More arrogant.
Yeah, more than now. Yeah, I wasn't as deferential as I guess he expected. So he put his foot down and essentially like, no, we are paying. And it's like, it's an incredibly noble point. And it's like, I have no leg to stand on. You're LeBron James. You're also right. And I'm just a new guy who is 5'11".
So how fast did you give up?
I pushed back twice, and then he yelled, and I was like, yep, we're done.
But you guys were on the same side.
Yeah,
It's
not in
music
that
to my
argument.
ears. When you want the infighting like that.
It wasn't fighting. It was
You're coming up with your positions, though.
right. Yeah. You guys don't have infighting? Obviously,
Yeah, a
everyone
ton
has
of it.
infighting. Yeah, obviously.
But having LeBron James try to give a position instead of you, it means he's not letting. It would be as though you want to be the guard you want to play. He hired you to do a job and then didn't let you do it.
It also seems weird that like you were trying to get more for him, and he was like, "No, I want less, please."
No, I think that it was, from his perspective, it was something too important to leave up to us trying to negotiate it, which I respect. He was
don't.
willing to.
It's your job.
Yeah,
Sullivan, get
and I
LeBron.
think
You're
this is
smarter than he
This
is.
is I'm not.
News alert.
I'm not, and this is where I disagree, and this is where a lot of the problems came at my time with the union was like, it's this arrogance that I'm here to run this union, when in actuality you are there to enact the will of the players. They own the union. The union's plan is not going to be effective unless everyone, the most important people, buy in, which are the players. And if I say, LeBron James, shut up, I'm smarter than you, this is the way we do it, if he doesn't believe in it, the players won't believe in it. And then we have no leverage.
You have to sell your intelligence better, because you're bringing up what happens in negotiations when you guys negotiate with your employer, when you negotiate your own contract.
Go on.
You don't know best about what you should be getting from management. You are a great example, Pablo. During your contract negotiation, it was like amateur hour. But that's not your job. You're a Harvard-educated PTFO guy, but certainly you were not equipped to negotiate your own contract.
I think
You
that's
just revealed a lot.
I think that's an insult.
I don't know what happened there.
You know what's good when you're on the plane and then no one, like you run a window seat and the aisle seat guy is here already, and nobody comes for the middle seat the whole plane ride,
The
elbows
best.
everywhere.
The
That
best.
is good.
That's good.
That is good.
You give a little fist bump to the guy, like in the eye. It's
We
like, hey,
made
no
it.
one's here.
Look at us, Joe.
You can pretend that you're the nicest guy in the room, but do you, when they're walking back and you've got the middle seat open, are you giving like dirty looks? Like
Are you
you
talking
better
about, like, on
not
Southwest?
be sitting there.
Right.
No, you
or
just
when
you
it's
widen up. You just
or
get
when
fat.
it's a
You just,
big
like,
person.
It's like when Forrest Gump was trying to find him his butt seat. He's like, can't sit here.
You smell your armpit and then make a
Tight
face.
then.
You like make a face. You're like,
So one of the tricks you can use, and it totally works, especially post-COVID, it's the cough trick. It is
Is that what you've been doing
fantastic.
the entire week?
That's similar to the
it.
smell the armpit thing.
I don't get the smelly armpit.
It's just like you're checking yourself and you,
It's to
and
say
you
you
make
smell.
a
oh,
face.
it's to say
like,
that
I don't
you
smell good.
smell.
On Amtrak, as Domonique knows.
It's funny.
Assigned seats now.
What?
Yeah.
No, but you ride first class on the Acela.
No. So when COVID hit, they started assigning seats. The Acela used to be
The whole Acela
find
is
your own
assigned.
seat. Yeah, but now it's assigned seat. But I do remember.
I know what an Acela is, but for Billy.
So from D.C. to New York, there's a slightly faster train, still slower than the fastest trains in the world because of politics and money. But
like our Bright Line, we have Bright Line.
yeah,
down here.
so it goes.
Doesn't kill as many people though.
Right.
It goes from
were
D.C.
gonna be a sponsor.
to New York and stops
And
a bunch
Boston.
of different places.
It goes
Oh,
all
yeah, I
the way
mean,
to
yeah, it goes
Boston.
all the way to Boston, but it stops at like Delaware. And so if you are on the East Coast, and you're going up to New York a lot, you take it a lot. I learned that I had jumped the shark on pre-COVID on the Acela because I always wear a hoodie and I always am black, so people choose not to sit next to me. And then there came a time when a little old lady got on the train, and there were a bunch of open seats, and she sat right next to me with my hoodie on. It's pulled down. I'm looking as intimidating as I possibly can look, and I realize I'm cooked.
You realize that this lady is celebrating Black History Month every month?
No, she not. She just didn't see me as a threat. Now my feelings were hurt. It's like it's one of the few benefits. One of the few benefits is nobody wants to be around me. Why do you want to sit next to me, lady? Go sit over there. That guy has on a suit.
Where all of our white American boys go. Good EP.
Worked out better in my head.
That's on me.
Did you say anything to her?
No. I mean, I talked to her on the trip. Yeah.
Oh, so you did. So
Yeah.
eventually...
When she sat down, I was like, "You got me.
Oh, that's
Got me."
awesome.
Talk union.
Put her to sleep. So anyway, that is a trick that you can use. You don't have to leave it up in the air. So I would just think about that.
I use a
going
tuna
forward.
sandwich.
No, but then that impacts you.
I love
too.
tuna sandwiches.
The smell of tuna sandwiches on a plane.
I love
I
tuna.
think that's wrong when people do that.
Yeah, agreed.
I love tuna too.
You
So
love the
good.
smell of tuna sandwiches?
I don't
on the
say I
plane?
love the smell of it, but I do. He just said I love tuna, and I agree with him.
17
Chris.
Americas.
That is what?
Wait, David, in your current state, if you saw someone with a tuna sandwich not being able to smell it, would you be like, I'm going to ruin this person's day and take the seat next to him?
So I would not sit next to that person.
Just sit down and be like, got extra?
Having nothing to do with the smell, I'd be worried about crumbs. I'd be worried about sort of mess.
Hold on.
But it's not the smell. So the smell, I can walk through New York City like a champion now. It doesn't impact me at all.
Last night, we went to one of the most delicious restaurants in the country.
He said it smelled good. Did you catch him? Did he say it?
Stevie Wonder situation?
Yeah.
I said it smelled good.
No. I caught
When
you
did
say
I say that?
I didn't realize it, but looking back, you ate that crouton and you said,
And I said the
You said,
crouton's amazing. Yes, it was.
You can taste. You've been lying, Stevie.
I'm lying. It's true.
Got his
I have
ass.
full taste because of the crouton.
We got him.
Take it back. You finally got me.
This man's
No.
been lying for
The
attention.
crouton was slick and crisp and buttery, and it was. I'd never tasted a crouton like that.
But you tasted it last night,
Yes.
so you can taste.
I don't know that I tasted it the way you tasted it. I don't know that it had the flavor that you had the flavor of, but it felt amazing.
You sound like a celebrity that's like a guest judge on a cooking show. Like where you're trying to hang with like the guys that know like the cooking, like this tastes slick and crunchy and buttery.
buttery.
This is delicious. Because like I've always envied
Parmesan
those
flakes.
celebrities that go on
They're
those shows. And I'm like,
words.
how do they know so much? It's like, oh no, they're just saying words.
I've never heard a crouton described as slick, though.
Yeah, that was.
All right, what kind of
It
slick?
was sort of.
Bags of sand.
It wasn't slick.
Hell yeah.
It was a great crouton.
It was.
Eating without taste is like putting a boob job on a corpse. Got his ass.
Breast enhancements. Is
Can
Can we
what-
isolate that sound, please? Thank you.
I like when we have different EPs and you learn their moves. I like that Chris's move is I'm just gonna sit around and wait for somebody to say something funny. Clip that, baby, clip that.
Well, I
Breast
guess he's
enhancements.
trying to make everyone forget Zerbia.
So
So it's just highlighting every other mistake so we forget Zerbia.
so we can't get Zerbia clipped until you're not in the EP chair, huh?
All right, send me Zerbia.
Yes. You don't need to protect yourself. This is a free.
Thank you,
this
David.
is a safe area. We want you to feel good and relaxed. We want to report back to Dan that everything was great, that this crew that was put together got along. I don't think we're in position to talk about Caitlin Clark. This is what Dan would say. Jessica and Lucy aren't here. We shouldn't be talking about women's sports. We're not in position.
This is I'm never here when that sentence comes out of his mouth. I'm not sure if that's what she was doing right there, but I feel like one of the top in America. No one watches more WNBA than me. That's Rebecca Lobo included. Like,
Count 'em.
Salute. So finish. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
No. That's perfect. let's go. You got a minute for us? You got something? You got some takes? What you got going on?
I can do it whenever we're ready. If the producers are ready, I can go. But
Hey, get my man a sound bed.
I'll give you a thumbs up when I'm ready.
dear
Hey,
God, Chris.
hey, Chris. Find something with a little something to it. Don't give him a whack sound bed.
right, we can take a break to find the sound.
Yeah,
bit.
take a
Wait.
break. Don't rush it.
I want Chris Cody to audition for us the potential sound
Ooh,
beds.
I like that.
And I'll let you know when I have them.
He's got all this board in front of him. We always get in trouble for that, like calling for video when the video guys aren't ready or asking the EP to be ready with something. I thought the job of the EP, and I could be totally wrong, is to know what we're doing before we do it.
He's not a mind reader. I do think that we do have a little opportunity here, though, to sneak back into a little bit more sports business talk. Or should we put the sports business talk later in the show? Have we gone too heavy sports business? Because we haven't
This is
done...
a good dilemma for Chris Cody. Chris Cody, do you want to hear more hyper-intelligent, first-class sports business discussion? Or do you want to play the sounds that we've asked you to play?
Bore me.
This is not a good sign for the rest of the show.
We could do locker room...
It's not boring. The
I don't-
NFL Sunday ticket thing,
couldn't agree more.
Domonique, is not boring.
I agree that it's not boring, but I'm looking in the shipping container, and they are our audience surrogates. And as soon as you said NFL Sunday ticket lawsuit, everybody looked down. Look at them.
I like that everybody on the stand was taking opportunity to talk about each other on the record. Like, that was interesting to me. Nice. Where Roger Goodell was like, you know what? The NFL Network kind of sucked. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to sell our product to Amazon for $20 billion.
Jerry Jones.
What would it take
talk
to
shit on the
interest
Bengals.
people? This is really where my head is.
Did you hear a little bit of music just
I did.
a minute or so
I did
ago?
not.
I did. I heard it.
That was an accident.
Jerry Jones.
Nice try.
Jerry Jones took shots at the Bengals
At
for
the
no reason
Bengals.
other than he hates the Bengals
Yes.
owner.
What's the number?
Jerry Jones took shots at back in our CBA negotiations, Jerry Jones openly, and it was always the Bengals as the example, getting after them because they took forever to sell the naming rights to the stadium. And so, like, because of revenue sharing, if you can get over a certain threshold, you don't have to pay money to certain teams. And all the teams in the league were selling their stadium naming rights. And the owner of the Bengals was like, nope, we are going to celebrate my dad and keep his name up there. And Jerry's like, you're not maximizing profits. Why should I have to send you money? So that's one of the reasons why he hated
Steinbrenner used to say that, and it made me crazy because it doesn't matter. If you're not sending it to the Brown family, you'd be sending it, it'd be recalculated,
Right.
and it'd go to different people. It's not like Jerry Jones would get a discount in relation, in lockstep to what the Bengals naming rights deal
It
was.
just feels like a free rider problem where it's like you guys, and this is the issue with operating as a cartel, which is very different than European sports, is that you get to be a free rider in certain situations. You don't even have to be competitive if you don't want to. You just sit back and make money, and that's how we get pissed off when they make a lot of money and complain about us wanting more money.
The amount of money at stake in this lawsuit, when you account for the treble damages, which is, again, triple the damages, which happens under antitrust law, is $14.4 billion.
Under a violation of antitrust law. But I want to get it down more granular. And what I was trying to get to with Billy and maybe getting everyone's interest, what's the amount of money that you want in your pocket? What refund would you take?
I mean, I'm
that all
never
of a
gonna
sudden.
get a refund.
No, I mean,
So this is awesome.
you might actually. I just put in a claim for the NBA Top Shot settlement.
So did I.
Yeah, but they said you're gonna get like 3 cents per Top Shot you own or something.
In
I
a
want
debit
my
card
nickel.
they will send to me, or in the form of a Target or
did it
Amazon
too.
gift. What did you pick?
did it too.
Did you pick the debit card? Did you pick the gift card?
I picked the gift card.
Oh my God! What from where?
All right, I feel like a member of the shipping container now.
I know.
Yeah.
YouTube, Adam Jameson from YouTube says, shut up in business. So keep the party going.
Nah, I don't care. Hey, Adam, respectfully. Chris, you got some music? Ooh. Oh, where y'all been hiding these slaps?
That ain't it, bro.
It's
That
a
ain't
start.
it.
It's better than I
It's better
anticipated.
than we expected.
Hold up. You got Lucy sound? I mean, you got.
Oh my God!
Again, brother, I hate to do this to you.
No.
No.
Real
Hey.
a mistake that is.
Penalty box, my man.
That's it.
Go ahead, press the button.
He's got to go.
Yeah, well, but nobody said it earlier, but those are some 90s ass shorts you got on too, brother.
They're stock 80s.
Those quads.
They are so high up his leg.
Don't be scared of the quads.
What about this one? No, I gotta figure this out.
I like the
Chris
first
is
one a little
leaking
better.
confidence
Yeah.
at a rate that is going to accelerate now that Domonique has left the room.
So what interests me about the Sunday Ticket lawsuit is that there were
The shipping
people
container might get money out
who
of this.
immediately went on the air and said you could be looking at $5,000 for every person who ever had Sunday Ticket. And I went on Nothing Personal and said, if you're holding out for your $5,000, do yourself a favor, like you're going to turn blue. Because there's so many steps left. But the media reported, it's treble damages, it's $14 billion, this could be $200 million per club, and it was a whole Megillah. But it's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. The issue here...
Which is a fascinating
It's
development.
pretty cool if they would accept it, and I think they will, because getting rid of the antitrust exemption for broadcasting is a possibility, but really it's combining over-the-air and streaming. And if we're going to say that streaming is now the same as over-the-air in every way, that's a big deal.
So the very basics of this are relatable truly to anybody who watches the NFL.
Or TV.
Or TV. But it starts with the very basic premise that if you are a Saints fan living in Los Angeles or a Dolphins fan living in New York, to watch the games of the team that you love, you need to pay now $349
to get every team in every game.
To buy Sunday Ticket. You don't get to buy them a la carte. You don't get to get it piecemeal. You need to buy everything to get anything. And so lawsuits have been brought. A class action lawsuit has been brought, started by this sports bar, and everybody joined in. All of these consumers alleging that it's anti-competitive to force people to pay up to buy all of the NFL stuff when they only want some of the stuff.
And that there are competitors out there who would have paid less for this ticket. ESPN, it came out in the trial. Hey, let's do it for $70. And the NFL came out and said, no, thank you. We like charging $359 to our people. And I get it. Because if basically the customers will pay the price, then you charge that price. And customers were paying the price for Sunday Ticket, but the thought is it could be available for cheaper elsewhere.
Right, and Roger Goodell gambled on this not being a thing. He would need to answer to a $15 billion judgment, and now it might go to the Supreme Court.
It's got to go first to an appellate level, then to the Supreme Court, but we're talking years. So what happened is the media business personalities, not Skipper and not myself, were coming out and saying, get ready, you're getting money. And I just thought that was irresponsible because people like Billy were thinking, hey, maybe I'll get some cash. It's not going to happen,
I
Billy.
did not think that.
Did you? Did you know for sure immediately?
I will never get money from a class action lawsuit of any kind, ever.
You could opt in.
I'll get 14 cents. I know how these things go.
Speaking-
Also, I'm not going to... What?
Huh?
Chris, I just want to bring everybody behind the curtain here. If you're not watching on YouTube or the DraftKings Network, what you are seeing, what you should be seeing is Chris Cody's face whenever he tries to press a button. And it's been the face of a man with zero confidence.
You've been killing it, Chris.
Small windows. Sometimes the windows close on your fingers.
But we now have a big window to do the thing we've been waiting for, which is play music suitable for Juju Gotti.
Oh, I don't hate this one.
Smooth.
This is smooth. This is smooth. I think Lisa Leslie would like this one as well. Salute to Simone Augustus.
It's as good as it's going to get. Right here.
Yeah. 50 seconds left, so I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, that's all right. We just
For the
tested out.
L1 minute. I mean, WNBA. Pablo, I see you. Give me some, Pablo. 'Cause I can give you a lot right now, but I'm gonna wait till Pablo.
I think it's too much.
You got a freestyle, Pablo?
Are we about to
I thought you was
do
about
a
to-
cipher?
Yeah, Cypher. David Samson, get in there.
Can you freestyle, David? Let's go.
I've actually never been able to do that.
Try.
Really?
I can only do 50 minutes.
There has never
In a
been
row.
a less essential use of the word actually in the history of speech.
Can you rhyme?
Only when I have the time.
You got 16 seconds.
You just did it.
Oh.
Thank you.
That is a testament to the promise of
Only when
racial
he has
harmony.
Someone
the
send me that
time,
clip.
Only when he has the time at the Marlins committing crimes. Welcome back. We are joined by the great Chris Whittingham, who was once executive producer of this show. He also wears glasses, so I would like you to be able to confirm or deny that Dan Le Batard's glasses are fake and they don't actually magnify anything or improve vision at all.
Just fog.
It's just because he wants them to fog up. It makes them look cute and intense.
You think that's a cute look? I don't think it's a cute look. I've also seen Dan's glasses up close. A lot of thumbprints on them. And so I don't feel like you'd go through the trouble of looking through thumbprints that much if you didn't need them. I've also, I'll hand him a stack of papers and then he'll put the glasses on. So unless it's a full performance, which I don't think Dan capable of in that respect, I think that they are real glasses.
Witty, there's not one prescription on it.
Yeah, it's tough. They do have food on them though, so maybe they're just for protection.
How can you tell that they have prescriptions on them?
Well, when we put them on,
okay.
More importantly, we wanted to have you on to talk about footy. All right. So you got some beef with Cristiano Ronaldo's performance in the Euros so far. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I got the Ronaldo fanboys upset at me, didn't I? So basically, after watching their performance in the Euros, he scored 0 goals. He's 39 years old. And I was really frustrated watching Portugal because they're an amazing team. If you look at their group of players, they might be right up there with the very best teams of the tournament. France, England, Spain, and they just did not look like it at all. And it seemed like the entire time they were in service of Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think it should be the other way around. When you look at the comparable talent between the other players and Ronaldo, he should be servicing them. He should be trying to fit his game around them. And instead, they're pumping in crosses. He's crying at halftime of extra time in the Slovenia game in the round of 16. He's taking penalties and missing them. He served almost no function in this team. And yet somehow he was untouchable. The manager couldn't sub him off. And he was the star of the show the entire time. That makes no sense to me, given where he's at in his career. I understand everything he's contributed to Portugal and growing the profile of Portugal in the world. But at this point, it's time for him to go. It was time for him to go 2 years ago. And somehow still, the Portuguese national team thinks this is all about Ronaldo. Guys, it's not. It's not anymore.
633. Do you know what that number is? Witty, does that number mean anything to anyone in this room?
I believe the number of career goals that Cristiano Ronaldo scored.
I believe it's the number of millions of Instagram followers he has as the number one, not Kardashian, not Taylor Swift. Ronaldo is the single most popular person in the world, not in sports, more than the king. Therefore, he has earned the right that he gets to decide when he hangs them up.
By accruing Instagram followers?
Yes. Popularity wins the day.
He's hot.
Every time.
So hot.
And let's not forget, he's only 39 and looks really good still. So in that Portugal uni, I believe that everyone will always service him until he steps away.
That got real explicit at the
He's
end.
not good. He's not good anymore. Or at least he's not good at this level anymore. And he demonstrated it over and over again. And at a certain point, this is a sporting competition, not an Instagram competition. And it seems like he is dead set on playing all the way through to the 2026 World Cup. He's gonna be 41 years old, running around out there because he's got Instagram followers. Like he's gonna try and Tom Brady this thing without winning anything like Tom Brady did. Like it's over for him at top level.
Also, Diana Taurasi in this thing. But salute. Back to you.
Witty, Pablo Torre here, guy who's swagger you jacked. I have a question about what the Cristiano Ronaldo fanboy is like. How would you characterize his army of fans? What distinguishes them? Because I'm not native to this part of the internet, apparently, and there are 633 million of them or whatever.
Did you confirm? Is that the number, Chris?
Confirmed.
Thank you.
So to answer your question, I think the Ronaldo... So basically, the soccer internet has divided itself amongst Messi people and Ronaldo people. And everything is viewed through the prism of that one singular sports debate. There is a whole other segment of people that just don't engage with that. But amongst the fanboys, there is certainly a section of Messi supporters too. But the Ronaldo fans, they're armed with a full amount of talking points. Like this is politics. where they go, he scored this number of goals in the Champions League knockout round. He's won this, he's won that. What has Messi done? And then the Messi people will go, well, he's actually scored goals in the World Cup knockout round. That's actually one of my favorite stats. Cristiano Ronaldo in 4 World Cups has never scored in the knockout round of the World Cup. It's fairly remarkable. But when you look at that debate, I think that's everything. And so it was about Real Madrid and Barcelona, and now it's about these two people, how they are aging, and everything is viewed through the prism of how does this suit my argument in the debate? How does this suit the way that my worldview? Because they also represent two different things. Ronaldo has more Instagram followers than Messi, despite, in my opinion, Messi being a better player, because Ronaldo represents something. He represents the right. He represents also he represents that look. He represents that you pop your chest out and you stick it out before a free kick and you go before you take a big free kick in a big game, and it's about aura. It's about all these nonsense things. And so as a kind of person that likes an individualist in the world, whereas Messi is this demure, team first, helping others, creating for others, and helping to lead his team. They represent
I
two
get the
completely
sense that
different
Witty's
things.
a Messi guy.
What makes you say that? Messi's a team first guy. It's all about Miami.
Since Witty's a Messi guy and Ronaldo is no longer participating, we can go ahead and talk about Argentina in the Copa because they are still playing. What should we be excited about for 8 o'clock tonight where they take on our continent mates? I guess South America versus North America. Who are you rooting for in this one?
So I'm probably going to root for Canada in this one. And despite this scurrilous accusation that you think that I can only be a Messi guy, he has not been good at this
bed's
Copa
a pretty
America.
Messi guy bed behind you.
He has not been good at this Copa America. He has been injured in this Copa America. And there's some legitimate conversations about whether or not his level has fallen off. Now, he does have the ultimate argument winner, which is that he won the last World Cup and he can round himself into form, because the thing about Argentina is we don't really know much about this Argentina team because they haven't played anybody. Their group was a joke. Their knockout round thus far has been a joke. They haven't played anybody. All of the good teams were on the other side of the bracket. So realistically, they had their ticket for the final in Miami basically already punched before the tournament even started. They just got to beat, at this point, one of either Uruguay or Colombia in the final in Miami, and they could potentially win another major tournament. But really, we don't really know what this team looks like. Messi has not been great, but against Canada tonight, they probably played their best game of the tournament against Canada that second half in the opening game of the tournament. So I think that Argentina will probably win tonight just because they have a lot more talent, but I don't think we know a ton about them at this moment.
Lads, while we're talking about the beautiful game, let me remind you that with not one, but 2 massive soccer tournaments happening right now, our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook have an offer for all customers. That's right, David, all customers. When you place a pre-match 3-way moneyline bet on a team to win only, if that game ends in a draw, you'll get your original bet back as a bonus bet. Euro 2024 or Copa America only, pre-match moneyline bets to win only. Max reward varies, opt-in required, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
What a read. That
was breathy.
What an EP.
Couldn't catch my breath through the whole thing.
You had it almost right.
I read it correctly, but the breath was way off.
You have to figure out when you're going to pause on those reads.
Thank you, David.
He did that. He confirmed the number of total Instagram followers.
And he got music for Juju.
Actually,
It's
while
been
we were talking, I refreshed. It's actually 634 million now.
Wow. On top of
because of this show.
Picked up $1 million during this interview.
Witty, is it the
It could have been one though.
Definitely what happened instead of Chris just totally not checking.
is it are you really broken up about the U.S. team not making it out of the group stage? Because you strike me as a bed maker, and the idea that your bed is unmade
can you tilt
right
your camera
now.
down a bit? Because I don't know if the people on YouTube and the DraftKings Network can necessarily see just the mound. There it is.
Yeah, that seems. It seems like you're stressed. Are you stressed? Is this a Berhalter?
No, I'm not stressed. I got into Atlanta at around 1:30 in the morning last night, so it was definitely a late rise for me, and I had to grab a shower. So unfortunately, I was not able to make the bed to the satisfaction
a lot of
of the
pillows on
Le
that
Batard
bed.
audience.
So
there are a lot.
Nice hotel. What hotel is that?
But also, none of them are good. I wish hotel pillows were better.
Magic City tonight, bro. Magic City. Wings?
Good wings?
Nothing.
Man,
No.
we broke Witty.
No, I will not be visiting. I'll not be visiting Magic City after my game in Kennesaw tonight. I will be staying in the lovely surrounds of Kennesaw, Georgia.
Would it shock you
Salute
to
to the
know
house.
that I do not unmake a hotel bed, that I slip into it?
Bruh, me too, bruh. Okay, I'm glad we're here. I keep a extra suitcase. I got a carry-on suitcase with just comforters and this trophy in it for here. As soon as I get here, I go into the secret closet, go to the room, put that on top of the cover because spring break here at the Elser seems wild, according to my sheets a couple of times ago. And so I never touch these sheets. So, bruh, David Samson, you are a mensch.
Wait, you like slide in? Like, what's
So,
the visual of
You
this?
guys don't unkick. I gotta get those tight covers out of here.
What Witty
Right,
is
because
doing-
they're pinned underneath the bottom of the bed, and so
Exactly.
you can't fully elongate your legs. You
gap.
gotta get it swept out so that you can have some room to operate.
I'm 65 inches.
Hell yeah.
I don't have any issue with elongating my legs.
Who describes their height in
Stand
that
away from that
fashion?
Somebody for whom the inches are more impressive than the feet.
What was on your sheet when you got here?
Oh, it was okay. This was a couple of times ago, and it was while I was putting my sheet on top of. I got a sheet and then I got a comforter. I was putting it on. I was like, "Wait, what is that red dot on the white cover?" And so I took that cover off and threw it under the damn bed, well, under the closet thing. You feel me? And I just, it's so disgusting.
Would
Salute
you
to
rather
spring break.
a red dot or a white dot on your sheets?
Put it on the pole.
Chris Whittingham, something, soccer, Spain and France. Who
David
you got?
Sampson is spasming.
I can't believe Witty's room. I'm happy for you, Witty. Hey, do you ever go to the Stanford studio for Galazzo?
What are
Yes.
we doing?
I don't know.
So we're letting Witty go. He's got stuff to do.
We're letting him go. Let him go.
We have to let him go.
Go
He's
for
got
it.
stuff
I
he
like
wants
Spain.
to
I
do.
like Spain today. Spain. They're a good team.
Oh, good pick.
Also, red dot or white dot on your sheets. What would you prefer?
Probably red.
Love you, Witty.
I think I go white.
Love you too, lads.
You can catch Witty on CBS Sports Galazzo and Apple TV.
Thank you, sir. Well
Thank you,
done,
Witty.
Witty.
Thank you, Witty.
Bye.
I don't care what color the dot is. If I see a dot, I'm switching rooms, maybe hotels. I cannot bear the thought of that.
I've only
Me
switched
three.
hotels one time in my life. It's
Because of dot?
The carpets were damp.
That could be
It
condensation.
was in
from air
Orlando. I went
conditioning.
cheap on the hotel. It was like it was years ago when I was and I was at some I don't remember where the hotel was, but the floors were damp.
What movie did you watch last night?
Yesterday, I watched Dancer in the Dark.
All right, loved it.
It's an intense movie. It's with Bjork. I haven't reviewed it yet on Nothing Personal, but we could do a movie review segment. We have a WNBA segment.
I mean, we got two Jews
We have
cutting it up.
Austin.
at the
Wait a
same
minute, hold
time.
on, wait a minute. Is that, what's that sound? That musical sound I hear? What is that very catchy musical sound that
Pavlo.
an executive producer may or may not recognize?
We still got to do your top 5 at some point.
Hey, we inside. Look, and this is what I'm gonna do. WNBA minute, no notes. I'm not even gonna look at the notes. I'm just gonna top of the dome. If I need help remembering some teams, that's all I might need. Bottom of the league right now. Salute to the Dallas Wings. They're getting it together. With the addition of Odyssey Sims, that has changed the complexion of the team. Natasha Howard being back too. Don't over or underrate that. That is properly rated. Because Enrique always is going to be Enrique. I need a pause. I didn't breathe. I didn't do the thing that David said. Catch your breath first. I came in
I'm
hot.
with you.
So yeah, let me take a deep breath. All right. The LA Sparks right behind them or ahead of them. They just got Azare Stevens back. That right there will prove, I promise to God, Azare Stevens coming back will cancel out the loss of Cameron Brink because I feel like they are about the same type of player, same position. But with Talbot getting hurt the other night, that really hurt as well. But so keep faith in the LA Sparks. If you're an LA Sparks fan, I see you guys. Ari McDonald, welcome back to the league. Welcome back to prominence because she is in the mix. Salute to the team. Moving on, the Atlanta Dream. The Atlanta Dream got a lot of work to do. You feel me? In my opinion right now, they might. I'm not gonna say that. I love my Dream owners. I got faith with you guys, but we've had a lot of injuries this year. Like we got Ryan hurt, we got Neighborhood Canada hurt, Jordan Canada. We got a lot of people just on the team just not ready for the championship this year. And I see Paige around the corner. I'm not saying we should tank for Paige, but I'm just saying I'm not saying that either. Salute to the dream. We're going to get it together. Above them, I done talked the bed out. We back. You dig me? Above those, the Washington Mystics. The Washington Mystics are not their record. I repeat, the Washington Mystics are not their record. Big Mama Steph is in the building. Salute to her. They got key injuries as well. Shakira Austin, B. Sykes. Oh my God, B. Sykes. If B. Sykes come back, the Washington Mystics are a top 5 team. Right now, ready to go. Also, moving on, congratulations. I'm going to go a little higher in the standings. Congratulations to the Minnesota Lynx for winning the Commissioner Cup. Holy moly. Salute to Lil Feezy, a.k.a. Nafisa Collier. She won the MVP, the Commissioner's Cup MVP. Even though Bridget Carlton should have won that MVP that night because she put in 23 points and it was really the reason. But get well soon, Lil Feezy. She had a leg or ankle. I'm not sure, right, but she's sitting out right now. So it's going to take Bridget to step up again. It's going to take Courtney Williams. It's going to take a team collaborative effort. And salute to my big Dorka Yuha. Salute. Dom?
I don't know. That might have been like 3 minutes. W got a lot of minutes. I got one question for you to close it out.
Sorry.
No need to apologize. That was plenty of W. Can anybody knock off the Aces? Is there any realistic chance? Let's close it out. Is there any team that can beat the Aces, or is it a foregone
Aces or the
conclusion?
field? Who you got, Juju?
It's the New York Liberty doing good and the Connecticut Sun doing good. And I want to congratulate Angel Reese also for goddamn doing breaking the record. She broke Candace Parker record, 13 double-doubles in a row. Also, Caitlin Clark, she did her first triple-double in history by a rookie. So I want to get to them sisters first. But the Connecticut Sun, they also got something to say about the Aces championship title run as well as the New York Liberty. I think the New York Liberty going to go and win this year. Salute.
Ooh, we call an upset alert.
Salute to John Quayle. I love you.
That's the field.
Yeah, that is the field.
Aces versus the field. He took the field.
Well done, Chris. Nice job with the music.
Sorry.
Chris was
You were great.
Chris was so self-satisfied that entire time.
What?
He
I
was
didn't do
like,
anything there.
No.
That was all Juju.
It was just like, look at the music that I queued up. And it
I
was,
feel like that's the least of the important things he's done so far today, trying to keep this house in order. I think he did a great job with it, but it's the WNBA minute that mattered more. The content of what Juju said was better than the music.
And I got to sharpen that up. I feel like I was rambling too much. I did too much lows, and I should have went straight in.
Is Jessica's F1 minute actually 60 seconds? Because the 2-minute intro to the show, as an example, is not 2 minutes.
It's the fastest 2 minutes in all of sports, actually. That's what they
So
say.
is Jessica's F1 minute 1 minute?
It's the bet is about a minute, give or take, David.
So the WNBA minute
a
needs to...
lot of bet
Yeah, it needs to
talk
tighten
this
up.
segment.
Needs to
WNBA
tighten it
minute
up.
has a lot of work to do, and I'm sorry look, I'm going to do better, guys. I got your back next time.
I love the end, though, because what struck me about the WNBA recently, did you see the vote counts for the All-Star game?
Nope.
Yes.
So
yes.
the vote counts
Multiples larger than it was last year.
6X.
It's
700,000, 600,000 for Reese and Caitlin. And last year, the top vote getters were in the 60,000 range.
Right.
That is, that's a major, major thing. You're vibrating. Everything okay?
Yeah, just phone.
It's been a couple times.
And the All-Star game being in Phoenix this year is a big deal because Diana Taurasi gets to go out on top.
Juju Gotti is trying to explain to everybody should appear as extreme and deep WNBA knowledge. He's trying to squeeze in a million things and prove that he actually watches this league. And David Samson is going at Domonique over his vibrating phone.
I'm incredibly distracted by the fact that it's happened not once but now twice. And it's been vibrating the whole table. Do people not know you're working now?
Have a little focus, man. You can fight through a little phone vibration.
You know what vibrates the whole table? Kalia Copper coming down the lane when BG's right there. Salute to Skylar Diggins Smith as well and Seattle Storm. They are looking good.
Do you have full credibility when there's no one you don't like?
What does that mean?
Is there a team that you don't like in the WNBA or a player you don't like?
Yes, absolutely. But I'm not sure that this is a great topic because you know how we sit here and say Darvin Ham should be fired, and we get into the microphone and say, James Harden, you're fat, or James Harden, you're doing this. We haven't reached that level, in my opinion, that we can actually say certain things to these women, these powerful women.
I want to get to that level.
Right, and that's why I'm teetering that line because there's a lot of changes I could see being made, but I don't want to harp on. You know what I mean?
You want to get to a world where we can tell the women they're fat? What
No, not fat. No.
All right. I
No.
want to talk about, since we got we're coming off the Aces, one of the best teams, constructed teams in basketball. At some point, I want to talk about Pablo's boy, Daryl Morey, who is either the most overrated or underrated GM in all of basketball because he manages to put together really impressive teams time and time again, but not really make it or never make it to.
Why are we slandering? We had another segue there. Speaking of James Harden, let's talk about the guy in Daryl Morey who has seen the future of the game, I think, as clearly as anybody has.
And said it's not James Harden.
And said, in the end, I'm going to need to move on from this James Harden guy. It's remarkable what the Sixers have done. So for people who aren't familiar, the 76ers were, and this is a great graphic we've just put on screen, but the 76ers entering this offseason had one move to make, and if they did not make that move, they would have been totally fucked. And that move was signing Paul George. And so for people who aren't familiar with what happened, Daryl basically went all in on, I can acquire this guy by trade in this new version of the collective bargaining agreement that has changed the economics of the NBA. And if I can do it, then I'm back in the game. And if I can't, I am, in fact, deeply, deeply overrated. And so I think the question is, like, did Daryl Morey, did Daryl Morey have on the line his entire reputation this offseason? And I think he salvaged it by getting Paul George, while also getting, by the way, an Ocean's 11 roster of guys that he keeps on assembling for one more job.
Yeah, it's got to be Ocean's 12 or 13 by now. He's been doing it far too many times, but I do think
Ocean's 8. He hasn't won anything.
He hasn't won anything, which is why I said he's overrated and underrated, because the moves that he makes are like the initial James Harden move is incredible. And then managing to put together a team around him that was competitive despite the fact that no one thought it would be. Impressive. And then moving to the 76ers and really putting together a team that seems like a real Eastern Conference contender right now.
Yes.
Despite the fact that Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. And he did it after putting together a team that we thought was the Eastern Conference contender the time before with limited assets. So the strategies of Daryl Morey have seemed pretty sound and impressive and sometimes even innovative. But the results, which is interesting to me that you say that.
I like Daryl Morey.
Yeah, he hasn't won
I do.
anything.
But what? I'm just curious, and I may have it wrong because I didn't know where we were going. Does he have a ring on his finger?
No.
I have the Sixers. Why you're so up on the Sixers?
you
Has that
playing
process been
Pablo?
trusted?
He's been to one conference finals. I believe.
Conference Finals.
Pablo,
yeah.
do you think the
West,
Sixers team gets out of the second round?
Yes.
I
Really?
do not.
You
I
think they're
do.
better than the Knicks or Celtics?
I think they're better than the Knicks, and I think that so we're in this era where there's no real big three as a trend anymore, and the Sixers have the greatest big three in the NBA. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George is the greatest big three in the NBA.
I'm going to give an over-under and a wait to see. So we're going to mix nothing personal with the Le Batard Show. What is the total number of games that Embiid, George, and Maxey will be in the starting lineup together out of 82? I'm going to set the market, and then you go over/under, and we're going to remember this clip when the NBA season's over.
Okay.
45.
Over.
Okay.
I definitely think they go over 45.
I
But
think this Olympics don't help though. Like with
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, salute to wanting to play, but brother, last time we saw you, you had one eye and one leg. So like, brother, like take a summer off. If I'm a Sixers fan,
yeah.
It's outrageous that he's playing the Olympics. I would not have, if I'm the Sixers owners, I am not allowed. I don't want him to get 1 minute of playing time.
He'll
during
sit
the
out
Olympics.
versus Serbia.
Yeah. I mean, there won't be a ton of pressure on him. Like
Sorry,
that's,
Serbia.
I think
I thought you did that. That's why you said it.
you know that it won't be a ton of pressure on him. I think that it's partially the experience for Joel Embiid. I'm not sure. I get the point that you're making.
He's injured every year.
I get it.
But
But I don't think that this particular thing is going to be deciding factor. He's injured every year. He's going to be injured again. That's the deciding factor in their season every year. Whether we're going to say Daryl Morey is a genius or is a failure is going to be based on whether the player who can never stay healthy in the postseason can
But
actually
you took
one
the
time
over of
stay
45,
healthy.
so you assume he's going to be not out for half the season.
I don't think that was a hard call to take the over on 45.
What would have made the hard call? 65?
Yeah.
That's the easiest under of all time.
No. Look, here's my thing with Daryl. I want to be clear about this. It's not that I think he is like a super genius. I just think he is super savvy about the rules of the game. And he is the classic example of somebody who the league office has to worry about when it comes to somebody exploiting all of the ways that a team can be innovative around contracts, around how to pay guys, around how to build teams. And all of that is also existing alongside a very basic observation around how Daryl has operated, which is he fetishizes stars. On some level, like the very basic math of the NBA is the story of the most advanced math guy in the same sport, which is that in an era in which it's harder to get stars than ever because of the changing business of the CBA, the reason they got Paul George is because the Clippers said in a press release, David, that was stunning, the CBA prevented us from re-signing.
That's not what they said. That's not what they said.
What'd they
I
say?
led Nothing Personal with this morning.
What'd they say?
They didn't. They said that having bringing all three guys back was a priority they wanted to do, but the constraints of the CBA, not the rules of the CBA, they could have done it. They could have gone into an apron with Ballmer. They absolutely could have. They didn't feel it was necessary or appropriate to pay George what he wanted because he took the 4 years, 212 with the no trade.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the math of the CBA has incentivized a cheapness among even the richest, literally the richest of the NBA owners.
He loves his stars and also the same 7 guys that he signs at every team, everywhere he goes, every time.
He does. Can we have that graphic again?
It's only on for like 5 seconds each time it's on, or 2 seconds.
Pablo, it's not just stars, though. He fetishizes foul grifters. And that's the thing that's why Daryl gets so much shit from NBA fans. Because it's not just that they're great players. They're guys that are trying to cheat the rules.
Yeah,
and then don't play well in the playoffs.
Okay, so the playoffs thing, look, when the Rockets missed 27 3-pointers in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, that is a choke job that I cannot spin. That should have been Daryl Morey's best chance at a title, and they missed 27 3-pointers. When it comes to Joel Embiid and James Harden, I have been an enormous critic of how much they have made their own beds quite messy when it comes to how they performed. It's been an enormous problem. So the question for me is, how do you improve the hand you've been dealt with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid? You get the guy that you have not had since Jimmy Butler, which is in Paul George, a two-way wing who can defend the opposing star that is typically that position. They haven't had that since Jimmy.
Well, he's going to have to get to the finals and win, or else he's going to be general managing and
Serbia.
All right, yesterday, your man Novak Djokovic knocked off Holger Rune. Right? Did I get it right?
Rune.
But before we get into our Joker talk, I would like my man Chris Cody hit me with that Stat of the Day music.
Start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, it is your start of the day.
Stat of the Day is brought to you by Miller Lite. All right, this is the stat of the day. Novak Djokovic has made it to 60 Grand Slam quarterfinals out of 75. Nuts. So I assume that most of you guys are aware that Novak is not a fan favorite. He's been a dominant player in, how many years, Charlie?
About 18 years, over 20 on tour. He became completely dominant in 2011. So 14 years of dominance.
I mean, that stat is insane.
Yeah.
That's an 80% success rate to make it to the quarters of a Grand Slam. And are you counting of the 15 that he didn't, the ones that he wasn't allowed to during COVID, where he didn't play at all?
Not counting those.
So that's not counting those.
Yeah.
60 of the 75 Grand Slams he's played.
Yeah.
But that brings us back to Dominique's question of like, this guy isn't really well liked.
Yeah, like
right?
at some point, even the guys who we in all of sports who get on our nerves, if they're good enough, eventually we construct a story around them and we start to love them. He's still getting booed. And like when LeBron comes to your town, you may boo him, but you're showing up to see LeBron. It feels like Novak is never quite got to the point where.
But he's not getting booed. He's getting rude.
I thought it was Rune.
Like, that's the thing here. With like, there's a whole thing. We can play the clip. So this guy's last name that he played yesterday is Rune. And after any time that guy would do anything good, this world has an obsession with the oon sound. So if your name is Rune, when you do good things, we're going to yell Rune. We don't do it with Matts for some reason.
Matt.
It doesn't. For some reason, we do it with oons.
We
Now,
have
my
the-
question.
do we have
Hold
the
on,
sound?
hold on,
Do
hold
we
on.
have the sound?
Before we play the sound, I just want to point out the reason why people are obsessed with Rune is because it does sound like ooh. It sounds like play the clip. You can judge for yourself.
Hit it, guys.
And to all those people that have chosen to disrespect the player, in this case me, have a good night. Good night, good night. Very good night. Yeah. I'm hoping that they were just commenting on Runa and that they weren't disrespecting you. They were. I don't accept it. No. I know they were cheering for Rune, but that's an excuse to also boo. Listen. I've been on the tour for more than 20 years, so trust me, I know all the tricks. I know how it works. It's fine, it's okay. I focus on the respectful people that have respect, that pay the ticket to come and watch tonight, and love tennis, and appreciate the players and the effort that the players put in here. I played in much more hostile environment, trust me. You guys can't touch me.
There is no one who is more unlike LeBron James's description of Bronny James than Novak Djokovic, who is in a sport, Domonique, where booing is not allowed, and so he is objecting to the idea that they're getting away with taunting me under the rude.
Is he aware
loophole.
of that? Does he know of our world's obsession with that sound?
I disagree with you.
It has nothing to do with him. They weren't booing him.
I don't agree with Novak Djokovic on many things, but I do know that he's not well liked and that they don't like him. And maybe they're ruining, but I think more than ruining is the support of Rue. More than that is like them wanting Novak to know they don't mess with him, and he's fine with that, which I love. What's wrong with having villains in sports that are comfortable with it? He played that role perfectly. He talked trash back to him and hit him with a snappy comeback. At what point in that match do you think he was like, you know what, I'm gonna hit him with after this one? I'm gonna hit him with that good night.
Well, he crushed him. To be
That's
fair,
great.
He took out his racket and played it like a violin after winning a point towards the crowd.
It's outstanding.
I want it to be the world's smallest violin that he played, but he played it on his racket.
On his racket, across his shoulder, like a true maestro.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's kind of shaped like a violin. But at what point in the match do you think he started, I guess around the violin time, when he started thinking, oh, I'm going to cook these losers. You can't touch me. That was awesome. I loved it.
I love that he's acknowledging it. I do wonder, though, whether he is also just caught in a perpetual hamster wheel of his own
Creation.
of his own insecurity.
So the thing about this, a lot of the Djokovic personality dislike was from when he wanted to be loved. When he tried to be funny and disingenuous and had this sort of A-Rod-like persona. I'm coming to crash the party. I don't care about beating Federer and Nadal, but I really want you to like me. The last couple of years of Novak has been far more interesting and authentic because he is never more dangerous as a tennis player, as this tennis mercenary coming to vanquish everyone, than when the crowd is against him.
That said, I don't think they were booing him at Wimbledon.
So okay, I guess
hear what you're all
I
saying.
booed his ass. As soon as he was like, "Yo, it was a mistake," I would
Right.
be like, "Rue, get out of here!"
They're gonna boo him now.
Right? I would have booed the hell
For
out of
sure.
him.
So now when he plays his quarterfinal match or his semifinal, is he in the quarters? Because right now Alcaraz, your guy, is playing the quarters, but
Up a break.
So Djokovic plays tomorrow in the quarters. He's gonna get booed.
I think so. I
the
guess
king.
my point is it doesn't matter whether they're saying Rue or boo. I think the sound that they're making is meant more for Novak than it is for Rue.
Are you saying I need to hear the ruse in the previous round? That's what we need to do here.
Yeah.
Like, I
If
need
only
how
there
hard-
was an EP who could summon such video evidence.
I mean,
Look, the Joker,
thought
you
of it
throw
right now.
you throw rocks at the crown or at the throne, not from it. So just let it slide, Joker. You're the Joker. Like, you know what I mean? Let him rule.
I gotta admit, I appreciate it.
I now care about like his next match. I mean, that's the story of Djokovic to me is the story of a guy who started off wanting to be liked, then realized I'm never going to be liked, and now I'm going to be somebody who engages with the public in a way that, look, I have rooted for trolls. Joel Embiid is a troll, but to be this good and also somebody who is taunting the crowd, it's a truly dangerous move that you can't really do unless you're one of the greatest players of all time.
It's also the way he wins these matches against these people, too. He makes it death by 1,000 paper cuts of torturing his opponents. Like Andy Roddick described Novak Djokovic as first he takes your legs, then he takes your soul, where he extends these matches over and over again. So you get to tennis fandom's interesting because it's for an individual person. There are like each of these top players has like a Kobe stan type of fan base. And he gets to suck the life out of all of those fan bases point by point for 5 hours when he's playing like this.
Are they combined as big as Ronaldo?
No.
Djokovic
No.
plus Federer plus Nadal.
But it's
They're better at their sport.
but I
In
would
heart, they are.
I would imagine though that there is no more sport that is underrated when it comes to how hard it is to be good at it than tennis.
I think all professional sports are hard. Being around athletes, how could you agree with what he just said as a professional athlete?
I think-
Like as in,
So I think there are levels to the challenges and how difficult professional sports are. I think tennis is difficult in a way that some sports are not because I think tennis doesn't appear to require as much hand-eye coordination as it actually does. I think when you think about the spin of the ball and understanding how to, Charlie's a really good tennis player. I think your brother was also a really great tennis player. So I've learned a lot about tennis since I've started to work with Charlie, and I can't do it. Like I can get to every
Did you
ball.
play ping pong?
Oh yeah, I would whoop you.
I whooped his ass.
I will with both of y'all.
Let's do it. Get a
I'm
table.
not sure that any
David's
of you
really
will
good at
beat me
ping
at
pong.
all, but
David is
the,
good at ping
the
pong.
spin that you do
Yeah.
in ping pong, the slice, the
Right.
top spin. So in theory, you'd be able to do that in tennis.
It's different with a bigger racket.
No, but
it's
you're
I
more
think
professional
David is
athletes.
encapsulating my point
I guess-
about why this is an underrated
Yeah, I don't
sport.
think we need to get into the details of how difficult particular sports are, but I think because we're like our American perspective, tennis is not something that we care about nearly as much. And I don't think the way that their athleticism is demonstrated is not as loud, I would say, as like a 360 dunk or Randy Moss taking a ball off someone's back. But I do think, and Carlos Alcaraz is the reason why he's my favorite to watch, is when I watch his highlights, they don't look like tennis highlights to me. They look like NFL Combine highlights. I'm like, damn, who is that?
Right.
That is crazy.
And to that point, whenever
Yeah,
TFO faced Alcaraz the other day, bro, TFO's up. I'm like, And when he was up a set or two, I'm like, that's Alcaraz though. And like you said, it's that mental game of it. It's like you mano y mano against that monster over there.
Well, David and I might have been wrong here because I'm looking at a highlight reel from Rune playing the previous match, and I listened to like a 30-second clip of him winning points, and you just hear cheering after. You didn't hear a lot of. I could play it. I don't know if it's going to be great audio, but you just hear a montage here where you hear afterwards a lot of cheering. Nope, not a lot of ruining. No ruining there. Zero ruining, and then they're doing another one real fast here. They're
I
hitting
think
it
they
back
just
and
would have
forth.
started to boo
Here it comes.
Djokovic now.
You hear Rune?
Nope. Not
All right.
No.
Not a lot of ruining.
The reason they're doing it is because they have an excuse
Right.
to boo Djokovic. It seems like the only thing that's been ruined today, actually, has been your argument.
Nice.
I could have used like a
Nah.
nice sound.
I
like
wanted to sit there.
You know, like, da-da.
I believe that I will be a far better Dan chair sitter than either Pablo or Domonique. And the reason I feel that is I don't appreciate the way you've treated Chris Cody today. Calling him out the way you have. It is very hard to sit in that chair.
You're saying I ruined him?
I think that you are criticizing him in a way by expecting him to do things. He can't read your mind. You have to prepare people to help you.
Can I allow everybody in on what's really happening today?
Zerbia.
What's really happening is that David has proposed topics. He wants to take over the chair tomorrow that Domonique is sitting in. He is actively, you may have noticed in his complaints about Dominique's vibrating phone, that he just thinks that everything has been subpar because he's not in charge. And he's trying to talk about baseball now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about baseball, but he wants to talk about baseball.
I'm down to talk a little baseball with you, David, but I do think that you've had a lot of topics on the rundown that have been avoided, and I think we need to actually address the issue at hand. Don't try to come from my chair. Don't try to insult Pablo's hosting abilities. Let's just be honest. Your issue is your topics don't get well received. We're in a pre-show meeting. You throw out topics, and everyone smiles and nods, and then we get to the show, and nobody brings them up. That's your issue. So let's do it. Baseball is down, baby.
The pre-show meeting that I'm not there at all because I'm doing a different show.
Perfect point. That's why your topics don't make it. All right,
so
we're here.
Why I send the topics in advance? Yeah. Is that what you mean?
This is what I'm
Paul
talking about.
Skenes is an all-star, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you looking for a baseball minute?
Man, this man
Oh,
wants
wait,
a
wait,
Better
wait.
to be. Do you have music?
Splinker.
There's my EP. There's my EP.
That is the whitest music ever.
See what I'm doing here.
Yes. I feel like that's at a carnival.
All right, David, let's hear your freestyle.
There's a man named Paul Skenes. The fact of the matter is no one know what he means.
Oh,
His girlfriend is far more famous.
Okay.
But you better believe it, on Tuesday, you may see his Uranus. Because Paul Skenes may start the All-Star game, being the first man to ever do it that way.
Cook it.
Okay.
I'll be watching, eating my curds and whey. That is the MLB.
This man just run way with way.
W-H-U-I and W-A-Y. That to you, my friend. We lost Juju.
Oh, I think he died.
he's-
I think you murdered him. I think that's the first death from
He-
bad rap ever.
He worries about murder way more than I do, and this is what murdered him.
That was awful. I mean, awesome. All right, but seriously though,
It is amazing. Paul
hold
Skenes,
on.
if you've watched him pitch, do you know who that is?
Of course I do.
He's
the guy
better
with-
than Cooper Flagg.
He was the guy.
huh? Well, yeah, he might be actually.
He's performing
Yeah,
at the big league level today.
He might actually be better than Cooper Flagg.
I'm just reeling from what just happened.
I
so.
can't believe how quick you were to anything I say. You want to go against it,
Yeah.
and yet your brain, like
Yeah.
you were like on 2-second delay there.
But I do acknowledge when you're right. My immediate reaction is David's saying something. It's probably wrong. I'm probably gonna hate it. But then I caught myself. I was like, you were right.
This curds and whey eating 65-inch has a point. Can you convince us, though, why Paul Skenes is worth actually being impressed by? What's happening here that
can't.
makes it...
It's
Okay,
listen.
very
He's
good.
never been. I'll tell you. The reason he's getting this attention is he is the first ever #1 overall pick in the draft to be an All-Star the following season. But what really people love about him is that he throws 102. And what people really love about him, he is the Travis Kelce to Olivia
Done.
Dunne's Taylor Swift. And I will admit I'd heard of Paul Skenes. I had never heard of Olivia Dunne. And she's got over 13 million TikTok, some crazy number. She's a social media influencer, an incredibly talented, attractive woman. Paul Skenes is very talented, but not exactly in line to be on the cover of GQ.
Nice. Yeah, speak for yourself.
And they
Yeah.
well, I'm not
Mustache,
on the line
baby.
to be in GQ either. But they have combined to form this incredibly popular duo. And they're doing all these things, and it's really good for baseball.
So if you were the president of the Pittsburgh Pirates, which drafted Paul Skenes, how are you handling this specific combination?
The thing is, you can't take advantage of it now. That's the problem. On days that he pitches, you may sell more game day tickets. But baseball, it's a lagging indicator. When there's success, you can increase your season ticket prices for the next season. You can get more season ticket holders the next season. It really doesn't. When you've got like Fernando Mania, that is an old reference to just about everyone. That's if Dan were here, he would call me out on that. The Dodgers had that. We had it in Miami with Dontrell Willis.
Yeah.
He actually sells more tickets, but only the days he pitched.
Is it like Zoe's Summer Groove?
Nope.
Miami Heat. Sorry. Back to you, Dave. Sorry about that.
No, that's good. That's fine. So Paul Skenes is a phenomenon, but MLB wants to put him on a bigger stage, so they named him as an All-Star.
And people are mad about this.
Because it's not clear that he's earned the right to be an All-Star.
Whether you're looking for him on a bigger stage or at a baseball game, if you want to go see Paul Skenes, you go to the Game Time app. And you can get great tickets for Pittsburgh. They're coming to Florida soon. You can get them down here. I'm going to go see Paul Skenes. I want to see that mustache in person. And if you do that, download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed.
I just used the app twice in the last week, and I love doing it.
You get the view. I love the view where I can see where my seat's going to be.
I love that it's all in, so I see the numbers.
Yep. No hidden fees.
And I got tickets for my daughter to go see a concert with the Sag Harbor guy who got pulled over. Justin Timberlake.
That's what he's known for. That's what everyone does. Word association.
A double point was vicious, boy. I wish that people who weren't listening, people who are listening, and not watching, man, hit them with
a way and a way.
And there's something else I just did on Game Time app. It really is a great app, and not just because they're our sponsor.
So, can we go back to Paul Skenes for a second?
Yeah.
You are not someone who is shy about his opinions, but I didn't hear your opinion on the Paul Skenes to the All-Star game decision.
He is an All-Star this season. In the short time he's been up, he has proven to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. It may line up for him to start, and I think MLB should start him because it would be greatly entertaining, and we would draw from a different audience than we would normally draw for the All-Star game. The old fuddy-duddies are upset about it. There's no question. Baseball's full of old sort of people who don't want to upset the status quo. But Skenes isn't this outrageous personality. So he's not out there looking for attention.
Baseball also isn't good about highlighting their young stars often, right? So like last year, Ellie De La Cruz was like a huge story when he got called up. He was one of the top prospects in the minor leagues. He got called up in like early June. So had they had the opportunity to make him an all-star just to kind of highlight him while the nation is watching, because it's a slower time in sports traditionally, right? It's like SB week. So like that's a game where you can highlight young stars like Paul Skenes. And baseball in the past hasn't been good about including them. So because Paul got called up a month and a half ago or whatever it was, there was some question, is he going to make the All-Star team? Is he not? Because he's lived up to the hype, right? And it's been incredible.
Which is hard to do.
He was the #1 overall pick, and he had the rare path through college baseball. Then he, goes into the draft, and the minor leagues was a joke for him. He quickly made it up to the majors, didn't even spend a full season in the minors. And then he, you don't get the guy often that lives up to the hype. It was compared to Strasburg when he was called up, and Bob Costas was on there saying he's a Hall of Famer, like on his first start ever, which was absurd. But he also lived up to the hype at the moment. Then they shut him down early in the year. So, it's going to be interesting to see Paul Skenes' career and how it plays out. How do they manage him? Do they put him on a pitch count? What do they do for him this season? Is he going to wear out his arm throwing 150 miles every time he throws? Because, his first start, he had 9 of the 11 fastest pitches by a starting pitcher that season. He throws it hard, and he's lived up to the hype so far, so it's good that they're including it.
And here's the problem. They're not going to make the postseason, the Pirates.
No, so at some point you would think they're probably shutting him down.
I'm shutting him down because while I'm excited that this has happened, I want to try to be good next year. If I'm the president of the Pirates, I'm taking advantage of his pre-arbitration years when he's making only the minimum. I get 3 years of it, and that's it. This is year 1. So next year, I got to try to put someone around him, maybe sign a veteran arm, maybe someone not Chapman, someone better, because I want to try to win with Skenes before he gets too expensive.
The worst thing that can happen is that Paul Skenes gets hurt this season on a season that's not going anywhere for him, right? But he's also the story of the Pirates this year, and he's the story of
kind of
this other sect of baseball where you don't necessarily care about the Pirates or care about baseball, but you care about Livvy, and this is Livvy's boyfriend, and look how good Livvy's boyfriend is. And Livvy yesterday announced that she's going back for a 5th year in college.
Livvy's
I don't know what that
done.
has to do with anything.
That's something.
So what do you do? What do you do with him?
She tweeted.
He's the story, but this is how baseball works, right? They shut him down. Max Meyer was up for the Marlins, and he was doing incredible, but this is somewhat of a lost season. This is a
been
lost
terrible
season.
in AAA.
He's been terrible, and then you've had like the managers come out and they're like, well, what's going on there? And they've said he's had trouble, I think, adjusting to being sent back down. When he was having good success in major league level, because they want to conserve his arm, they're then using those innings in the minor leagues where he's still pitching, and it's the whole
They're
thing.
so full of it. They got service time back.
The part of this story that's really interesting to me, like the micro of it, and the Paul Skenes specifically is interesting. But we've had a conversation yesterday a bit about how much marketing played into the Bronny selection and how that's going to be part of the entertainment property that's offered by the Lakers and, frankly, the NBA. Like, when Bronny plays, it's going to be on a national televised game. And if he gets the chance to play with his father, which I'm sure he will, it will be a big deal that leads all of this. And I think part of what is risky about that is there is some value in the illusion that this is all just straight sports in the way that it felt like it was in high school. But I recognize that it is entertainment. So I guess I'd like you, David, as someone who's been behind the scenes and probably our most resistant sport to accepting that you have to entertain it or turn it into a little bit more entertainment. What are those conversations like when you're trying to do that?
There was a whole thing called Let the Kids Play.
Right.
That was not more than a couple of years ago.
Campaign, yeah.
Where baseball really tried to get it,
right.
make it
I don't.
younger and more
No, I remember
popular.
that. I guess my question is, there has to be pushback on the other side because there has to be, in their defense, there has to be a balance because you don't want to turn it into professional wrestling where everyone's like, this is all for show. But I guess I want you to tell me about the conversations when you're thinking about adding a pitch clock or you're thinking about trying to add some new entertainment properties to the game, and who are the people that are pushing back and why?
It's the balance. Well, the biggest people who push back are the old traditionalists. And it's funny, like a John Sherholtz was involved in the start of instant replay.
The Braves GM.
The former Hall of Famer. John so do people not, is that another name that is not known?
Is that not how he was most known, as the guy who was running the Braves?
John Sherholtz to you is a foreign name?
Yeah, but who cares? You said it.
So
he cut me off in traffic once, but neither here nor there.
So I believe that the biggest problem I had in baseball was trying to do things that were different that would change the way the game was actually played.
What's the most different thing you tried to do?
Make it so anyone can hit in the ninth inning, out of order.
Okay.
So you could have
that was our show's
Imagine
idea.
You
if
could
that-
have. That was done by me way before Stugotz, way before you, way before everybody. That was 15 years ago.
Wait, so explain it.
Yeah.
So basically, you have three
It
outs
all,
in the ninth
it all
inning.
happened because of Derek Jeter.
Did you have smoke coming out of the dugout?
No, it all was
was our
Derek
idea.
Jeter related, and it all happened in 03 when Derek Jeter. When I first saw the video of the World Series, there's a video that comes out, and there's a picture of Jeter in the ninth inning just staring and looking out because it wasn't his turn to bat against Beckett. And I always thought to myself, what a stupid sport that your best player, assuming Jeter's your best player,
Right.
doesn't have a chance. It's like, and the equivalent was, can you imagine Jordan not being allowed to have the ball down one with 10 seconds left in
This
the
is
game?
why the Ohtani-Trout matchup in the World Baseball Classic was incredible.
One of the great moments ever but you could manufacture that moment every single game. And if you can manufacture it, why wouldn't you do it?
And so tell me about the pitch. Who'd you make the pitch to, and how was it responded to?
It's within an owner's meeting, within a committee called the Competition Committee.
Right.
And the response was, it was put on a list, put on the special list. The list of things.
The David Samson rejected ideas list.
It wasn't just me, I would say, but you need 23 votes to play.
And the resistance to it, though, was
It's not
from-
our sport. That's not who we are. That's the beauty of baseball. That it comes up in the eighth inning, your best player, that's when he comes up. And then the other team has to figure, do they want to use their best pitcher in the eighth inning, not the ninth inning? And my point was, when games are on the line, it's always different. You can say this is the biggest moment of the game in the seventh inning. I don't agree with that. The biggest moment of the game is always at the end in the ninth inning.
But that's like too drastic of a change for the way Major League Baseball works, right? Like that's something that you would see they implement in like a season in like the minor leagues, which the minor leagues then becomes like the experimental ground, or like an all-star game, because the all-star game in baseball is also interesting because there was a time that it was taken seriously, and then there was a tie. and then this one counts. And then that determined the World Series used to alternate year to year, National League, American League, National League, American League. Then there was the All-Star game, the Bud Selig in Milwaukee ended in a tie, and then they're like, well, now this isn't being taken seriously, so now we need to make this count. Then they have the Home Run Derby that's changing the rules every year. Every year you're watching the Home Run Derby, you have no idea what's going on. So, like, the All-Star game's a game where you could experiment, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, the World Series went back to alternating sites, right? National League, American League.
It's done by record now.
Oh, okay.
It's now home field in the World Series is the best record of
Okay.
the team who plays. How much in advance do you need the Home Run Derby rules to enjoy the Home Run Derby? Like, do you need to study them and know them, or can you just be told as you're watching the broadcast?
No, I mean, I think me anyways, I usually figure it out like the third person that's up, right? Because
they
like
go through it.
there's I know they go through it, but I'm ordering pizza, I'm doing something,
We're
I'm
not-
sitting down.
We are never, as a population, listening to the part where they explain
Yeah.
the rules.
Exactly right.
That's on you then.
Like the Elam ending in the NBA All-Star game. It's like, wait, why did the game just stop?
So what's one that did actually go through? Anything that you pitched to actually
Yes.
work? Okay.
4. No more intentional walks. No more wasting pitches.
I hate
When you want
that.
to put a guy on, save time in a game, put the 4 fingers up, boom, he goes to first base.
I mean,
Wait,
Miguel
what-
Cabrera had the most iconic moment.
So
'cause of
that was the complaint, is that what about when the pitcher, for that one time,
Misses.
that the pitcher really throws a ball that a hitter can hit, like a Guerrero or a Cabrera.
You get a
where the
bloop single right up the middle against in
I'll
Baltimore.
Never
I remember
forget
that.
ever. But I'm willing to give up those moments to save those seconds.
Something that you've never forgotten. You're like, I don't want that. That thing that I remember really well. Get that thing out of my life. Could have saved 10 seconds.
That was our guy. I get it. But it's a better rule. If you're going to walk a guy, there's no reason. Do you remember in baseball,
Yeah.
the catcher standing up, putting his arm out, and you have to go ball 1, ball 2, ball 3? It's absurd if you think about it.
I have a broader kind of philosophical question for you about like baseball management. So I think no one in baseball is delusional enough to believe that it's still the most popular sport in America.
We all are. It's
You
a
are?
national pastime.
Really?
That's
so
a
like
room full of owners
the,
who are
the
all
thing that the thing that's
Telling
odd-
the NFL player, we're the national pastime.
yeah, well, that's nonsense. But the thing that's interesting to me is I would think that as business owners, you would recognize that you've been ceding ground because of the antiquated nature of your sport. And I recognize that they did finally start to adjust. And I've gone to 2 baseball games this year with my son, and they were great and fast, and I enjoyed them. But why such resistance when you see all the other games that are passing you by are completely comfortable with changing the rules?
Because a lot of the owners are scared, because when baseball does things, it gets criticized in a way. And what we would always tell the owners is, hey, the NFL, the NBA, they change the rules every year and no one cares. They just do it. How come in MLB we try to change something and all of a sudden you get the biggest protest ever? And owners are incredibly sensitive. You talk about Bronny and LeBron. Owners read their own clips all the time. And you say no one's heard of the owners. You go into different communities, they know the owner.
Pablo, what do you think of this?
Where the hell did all of our white American boys go?
Really?
Jeez, Pablo.
Great question.
Goodness. I mean, is it rhetorical? Do you want an answer? Huh? Do you have an answer?
I just think that Cooper Flagg is going to be really popular, guys. That's all I was trying to say. Turning me into some goddamn Netflix true crime.
It's not fair for you to clip our voice and not be subject to your own clip.
Look, MLB owners need to get offline, bro. They need to just step into the new millennium, bro. Sticks and stones, bro, dog. Because when we talking about progressing and advancing the sport as a whole, like you said, bro, the NFL with these replays and these challenges, and the NBA with some of their rules, dog, it only helps the eyes. It only helps the kids get into it. So take yourselves a little light.
I want a tennis-style replay in baseball.
Yeah.
Is there anything better than the tennis replay of any sport?
That's
No,
the best.
They get the good clapping and anticipation.
When you see the
motivation.
ball going,
Yeah.
it's like, is it
No,
going to
the
land
ball
in? Is it gonna
goes
land
and
in?
it's-
Oh, right before.
So you like the animation?
No, I like the fact that it's quick and it's totally accurate.
Imagine
I like
that-
the animation.
to his point, that animation, like on a baseball
Yeah.
replay where you see the foot running down the baseline, like that would be cool.
You want like the what is it? The thing they do when they're like they're hiding like the ball, like those animated videos.
Which cup is this in?
Yes,
Oh,
you want like
I
you
always
want-
get that
you want
right.
One of those
Two.
animations.
You know you can fix it.
People love yelling that.
You can
Of
fix
course
it
you
when you
can.
put it on the computer. Like you'd fix the mascot race, you can fix the helmet cup thing.
What can't
And you
fix?
did?
Sometimes.
Oh my damn!
This is what we found out today: is that
Bleep
David
this.
Samson, running the Marlins, was fixing the digital games on the jumbo.
You can do it so that no one can get it. You can do it so everyone gets it. You can do
What
it
do you
so
whisper
it's
to the guy
always
who's going to win a
three.
free shirt?
But why?
Hey, it's number one. It's number
Well,
one.
you know how much
Did you
time
hear
you
that
spend at a ballpark?
So evil.
That was not an evil laugh. That's, oh my God, that's funny. I hadn't thought about that in a really long time.
It was a cackle.
It was a cackle.
cackling.
It was a cackle.
Cackles are
There are
inherently
no
evil.
non-evil
No.
cackles.
Every cackle's evil. Witches cackle. Cackles are evil.
The transitive property of cackling?
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard a pleasant cackle. No one's like, oh, that joke was great. Had me cackling. You're always like, hey, that villain was evil. He even cackled.
I don't know that cackle is always pejorative.
It is now.
This explains a lot.
Hold on.
It's like
hold on, hold
ruining.
on. Can you please explain to me why you would ever want to fix the three-card
No
Monty?
one's betting. It's not.
No,
there's
That,
no
but
betting on
that's
it.
even more mind-blowing.
It's
Why
just-
did you
do know
care
how
to
many-
fix
Do you know how
it?
much time you spend at a ballpark when you run a team? It's morning till night, every day of the year. You know this. How do you?
I
It's
don't.
funny to me.
Football is different. We don't spend that much
That's
time,
true,
and we
actually.
also are not cacklers. We don't do that type of
Oh,
foolishness.
sorry.
But speaking
Mr.
of
Thighs.
quad,
Sorry.
yeah, if you want to flirt, man, just wait till the commercial
Mr.
break.
Thighs.
baby.
I'm calling you that from now
Just
on.
call me Mr. Thighs. I was speaking of being bored at ballparks. Something else that came up in our dinner last night was David Samson had a story to tell that someone told him after our show yesterday, right?
Oh, I do have one.
A continuing update in our coverage of
This
the time
one
that
is
David
unreal.
Samson fired former Marlins bat boy Nick Cirillo.
Brad. That may have been my reaction to Brad Penny coming on the show.
I was getting that sound in sometime today.
Yeah, nice job.
Brad.
I forgot that we had Brad Penny also.
Hold on.
Nick Cirillo and then Brad Penny called in, startling David Samson to the point where he said this.
Brad. Sounds so horrible.
We'll save David's story for the next time. I just want to hear him say Brad a lot.
Brad.
Wait a minute.
Brad.
Hold on. Can we imagine?
Who's the guy in the F1 movie?
Brad.
Can you imagine why? Like, all right, we don't know how this happened. What do you think is happening when someone yells this?
Brad. Like, is it a cry for help?
It could be.
Brad.
Yeah, it's like you're in
My
it.
phone's
No,
ringing.
it's David Samson is trying to solve a mystery with Scooby Doo.
Brad.
And the villain takes his mask off, and it's
Brad. There is no chance you've got 97 more seconds of ways that I can still say Brad.
I think this is like
you are
the.
very incorrect.
I think this is in the movie where the nerdy kid becomes friends with the jock, and then the cool kids show up, and the jock ignores the nerdy kid, and the nerdy kid's like,
I think that there shouldn't be a mental health month anymore. You make it sound like I'm in the Breakfast Club.
but what happened?
Are we still
Hey,
gonna be friends
hey,
Monday?
come back.
Brad. I should have said Domonique. Brad. Pablo.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting so uncomfortable.
Can I get Mike Scher's phone number, please, since we're here?
I think he specifically told me to never give you his phone.
Where did
number.
that come from?
Because I feel like I'm in the cool crowd now. So I want to try to get
You know,
that out.
another place you can yell Brad is if you go to YouTube and type in Starfish from our brother, Brad Williams. Check out his
Brad.
comedy set right now. After you
Brad.
watch it, you'll be like,
Brad. He's a great comedian. Brad.
It's a really good special, honestly.
If you want to buy shore excursions, you can do it from Brad Miller. Brad.
Or if like you get concussed at a country music concert and the big
Brad.
star.
You want to be married to Kimberly Brad. Paisley. Kimberly Williams, I mean. Brad.
I feel like I'm
all
concussed
day.
right now.
I think that there shouldn't be a mental health month anymore. I'm all for mental health breaks. As a matter of fact, ready for one just about now.
Zerbia.
As promised, David Samson gave us a wild story last night. David, set it up.
Brad. This did not come from Brad Penny, but it did come from a former player. When we were talking about what clubbies are meant to do or what sort of bets can be done, and Brad Penny gave a guy $500 to drink a gallon of milk, vomited, fired. We know what
Well,
happened.
was it-
Watch
was it-
yesterday's show.
the way that Brad Penny described this
Brad
was with the most like velocity he had ever seen someone throw up. It seemed like it was almost straight out into a wall.
Exorcist
and as we
style,
found
he said.
out from Nick Cirillo, it was white.
And, well, it was from milk. So I had a player text me after the show yesterday because they were interested in what we were doing and said, you think that was bad? We had 2 clubbies put atomic balm on their testicles and made them run on the treadmill, and the last man standing got paid the money. Now, these guys at dinner did not know what atomic balm was. And I said it to them, it is Bengay on steroids. It's icy hot on steroids. It makes steroid-taking people look like me. That's how hot atomic balm is. And to put it on your stones, it's not safe, it's not smart, and it can't work. Yet, that is atomic bomb. That's a great job. That's great EP right there.
Thank you.
$42.95.
I did all of that.
That's quite expensive. I didn't realize it was that expensive. Shout out to our video guys.
So
That was me that did that.
Yeah, good job. That made me like kind of think that David Samson was right. The hearing that story happened made me think, yeah, you got to put an end to this at some point. Like immediately, if somebody's messing around with
someone's
milk,
conducting human experiments.
Does it remind you of the Wolf of Wall Street when they were doing dwarf tossing?
Oh,
And you're
Little person tossing.
And you're thinking to yourself, let's not do that.
yeah. I didn't realize that milk chugging was a gateway prank because it's like, hey,
It's a great line.
It's because you're like, all right, hey, you smoke a little weed, no big deal.
Juju, can we put that on the poll?
What's that?
Are we doing polls?
Yeah.
What's the exact thing you just asked? Is
Milk chugging.
a gateway prank? Is milk chugging a gateway
What are some other
prank?
gateway pranks?
That is a great poll question.
But it made me understand. I mean, I understood what you were doing yesterday, but it made me kind of think, yeah, I'd rather deal with being judged for firing somebody for vomiting milk than work in a
someone's
place.
mommy to say, hey.
Yeah, hey, we had to amputate your son's testicles because he was having a tiger balm race with somebody else for $3,000.
Wet willies. Gateway prank.
For sure.
Is that the one where you squeeze the nipple?
No?
No.
Is that the one in your ear, the finger in your ear?
Yes.
It is a
Clip that, guys. Thank you.
So yeah, it's the wet finger in the ear. I think
I
it's a wet
hate that
willy.
one.
You've had that done?
Yeah, I've had that.
How do you
I've
feel
had-
about the nipples one?
I don't love it.
The purple nurple?
The purple nurple.
I feel like we're taking my man back to 6th grade.
You're taking me back to
real-
no. This was pretty much the
Is
first
that
18
the
years of my
nipple one?
life.
Is
Right.
that the nipple? So
Deep
what,
pantsing, like the pull the pants down. That's a gateway prank.
How about
Dangerous game, that one.
what about the one where you lift up the underwear?
hold on.
wedgie
No.
Sorry. This is a fun game. I
No,
knew that
what's
one.
it called? What do you think it's called? What would you call it?
The lifting up the underwear.
The lifting up the underwear one, where you put it on a hook and then you get embarrassed.
A hook? I didn't do that
Oh,
part.
they hung you like an ornament?
On the back of the door.
It's on a hook, like on a towel hook.
Oh, they hung your little ass up like
They
a
hung
jacket?
All 65 inches, David Samson.
No, I was not 65 inches this time.
I think,
What's the
David,
name of it
most
called?
wedgies is just someone...
Wedgies. Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry. Most
God
wedgies
damn
is
it,
just
Chris.
somebody doing it.
Brad Penny.
The hooking up is that's a move. I haven't seen that one done.
All right.
It's a gateway.
The hooking up is a move.
What else? Yeah, I feel like that is not a gateway. The
Oh, you
hooking
think
up.
that's the final?
Did you
That's
guys,
heroin.
Did you guys ever do things where you'd skin someone else's backpack?
Skin it?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Where you would
Nuggeting?
turn someone's backpack, you would take someone's
Yeah.
backpack during class.
Inside out.
Without them realizing it. You would take the books out, you would turn it inside out, put the books back in, and then you would seal it.
When you
And
said
would put it
skinning, I
back.
had you like...
I was picturing like Silence of the Lambs.
We called that nuggeting. It
Nuggeting.
looked like a McDonald's chicken nugget.
All right.
Nice.
Never heard of that
Also,
one.
kick me sign on the back. That's a gateway
That's
prank.
definitely.
Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good
Oh,
to
that's
see
an
you.
escalation.
That is the top gateway prank.
Done it to my dad so many times. It's great.
What else has happened to you,
so
David?
many. We just came up with 12 gateway.
Is a spitball a gateway prank?
I don't know if I consider
Is that a prank?
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
not after
consider-
COVID.
That's a
escalation.
jailable offense after COVID.
Did you have other things done to you?
It was just all about size.
Oh, okay.
It was all about being short. That
What's
was
the
it.
one? Don't they like? I've never actually seen this happen, but I've seen like on TV and stuff. They put people's head in the toilet.
Oh,
No,
a
I've never
swirly?
seen that live.
Nah, that's a felony one prank.
that is not a gateway
not a
prank.
gateway.
That is not a gateway prank.
I've never actually seen anyone who's had that done to them.
In
the movies, you do.
I'm trying to think of pranks. The NFL pranks that I've been a part of are like. They're like the common ones that you see, like packing peanuts in someone's car. We had a rookie who refused to pay for rookie dinner one time, and it was my year. It was my position too. And so when we went in to change, they took his keys, they took the rims or the wheels off his car, put him on blocks, and and sent him on a scavenger hunt to find his keys. When he finally found his keys, he came out in the car, had peanuts in it, and it was on blocks. That was kind of mean.
That's elaborate.
Yeah,
That's not a gateway.
no, that's
rookie
definitely not
hazing.
it's not a gateway prank. The college one where we were younger and a lot dumber wasn't like a hazing situation because we just had to sing, but it was like a prank war going on. And the big prank that you would do, I don't know if they still do this, but you had to log into different computers around campus, and you have to have your own login. So use your email and your password so you can get to whatever your saved documents are, whatever, and you have your own like wallpaper. So what you would do is if someone left their computer open, you go in and change their wallpaper to something inappropriate and then log them off. So then they're in the middle of the student union. They open their wallpaper up.
Like a naked
Mr. Marcus.
You're damn right. The thing that would most embarrass a 20-something-year-old man, that is what was on the wallpaper.
I'm gonna say a website. I'm gonna move right past it if no one recognizes
What was that?
it. I'm gonna say a website.
You like squish that sentence together.
I'm gonna say a website. Meatspin.com.
Is that the one where you squeeze the nipple?
Classic.
Got him. No,
Is
do
that a
not put that
fetish?
on the screen.
Do
Do
not.
not.
Is that a the one where fetish you squeeze website? the nipple? You're gonna cut the nipple one too?
Oh, okay.
Flat tires.
Oh, that's like you step on
Also
somebody's shoe,
classic.
right?
That's a misdemeanor.
What used to be called Indian burns. Remember those?
Oh.
That I've had done to me. Where you squeeze two fists, you're squeezing the skin.
Right.
What do you call that now?
I don't think we ever
Burns.
reclassified
A native burn.
A Native American burn?
Just native.
Just native?
Yeah.
a First Americans burn.
First.
The noogie.
Yeah, it's not that exciting. That's not a good one. Are you on a website of fetishes or pranks?
I'm not gonna confirm or deny that.
What's the craziest thing you did? What's the rookie prank that was done to you or that you did to a rookie? Because the rim one, that's not.
Nah, I mean,
don't like
The rim one.
The rim one. Thank you. But
Is that the one with the nipple?
there wasn't a lot of.
Brad! Brad! Is that the one where you squeeze the nipple?
Why are you asking Brad that? Leave Brad
I've
alone.
never squeezed Brad Penny's nipples.
Oh gosh. So we didn't have a
Cut
lot.
it up.
Man, I like that Chris is like a professional wrestler, and that man goes to his special move every chance he get.
Rock bottom.
It's like
Over
hey,
and over.
it's
Using
like
that board.
it's like
Unreal.
Hakeem with
Chris
the
has
dream
really
shake.
come into his own over the course of this show today.
He's way more comfortable, which is great.
Every
I'm
time
enjoying
down
it.
the floor, give
Too
it
much
to me on the
attention
low
to me.
block.
Keep going. All right, back to you guys. Go ahead.
I want to know because what we did with rookies is there's not a lot of hazing allowed anymore. So we would have rookie players dress up as women, and now you can't do that anymore. They'd dress up. We'd have them as Hooters girls, and they'd have to go out in public.
Well, yeah, we didn't have anything like that. It was just like you would have to sing, get your hair cut, that sort of stuff, like minor stuff that no one really cared about. And the only time it would get bad is if you like push back and you kind of act like you were too good. And as long as you paid for dinner and you got the donuts, you did what you had to do, there was no issue.
I had to chug syrup.
Oh, because you like joined one of those
At Harvard?
No, the high school debate team.
That's Brad.
High school debate team hazing?
We went to IHOP
That
at
must
the
be
state
major
championship.
hazing.
competitive.
And we had to chug a whole thing of syrup at IHOP.
Is that the one where you squeeze the nipple?
That's not the IHOP. You squeeze the nipple.
Nah, David, relax. Can you let us chill, man? Stop bringing us back to the nipples all the time.
Shaq had the worst prank ever where he put Buddy mouthpiece in his crotch,
yeah, I heard
played
about
the
that.
game, and then gave it back to him.
You know who would have loved
Felony.
that, though?
Brad.
All right. I want to end the show with show awards today. How about that? I think that we need to figure out who's the MVP.
Zerbia.
Obviously.
Terrible timing there, so I'm out.
All right. Well,
I think it's your thighs.
We,
I think that's who won today.
how about rather than MVP or show awards, we go around and give superlatives to everyone? I think it's obvious that Chris is comeback player of the show.
Zerbia.
Way to go, Chris. Proud of you.
I'd like to award Charlie Kravitz with the other person who recognized what meatspin.com is award.
Nice.
Classic.
I'd also like to recognize Charlie for an impeccable Taylor Swift Eras Tour hoodie. Come on, ladies and gentlemen.
Another classic.
Charlie is a Swiftie now. It's your second Swift concert, right?
Yeah. Oh, love it.
I want to go to this one that's in Miami, and I want to ask Dan to like make it happen. I'm sure everyone here does too. I've been thinking about for months on how to do that. Billy, I'm sure you want to go too. Let's go in it together.
Well, no, I'm not going to ask Dan. Why would you ask Dan to get you tickets?
Just because Dan's got like connects and stuff. Like he's a you know. Thank you.
The
This
chances
is me
of him
asking
giving
you
you
guys for
Swift
advice.
tickets,
Hold
zero.
on.
Zero chance.
Zero.
You know who is the king of connects? Pablo.
Okay.
Pablo, the Mr. Connect 4.
You get the Connect Award.
King Connects.
Best connect.
Yeah, King of Connects.
I'd like to award Domonique Foxworth the most likely to lie about someone else using the word connect in a text message award.
Yep.
Bravo, Dom.
I'd like to award him Mr. Thighs.
Yeah, Mr. Thighs.
Yes, Mr. Thighs.
I want to give an award to Juju because doing a WNBA minute, no matter whether it was 1 or 3, without rehearsing, without jotting down notes,
Yeah, that
and
was good.
having all of the knowledge that he had, that was the segment of the day.
Now, I want to give David the best award for someone who didn't ever really know how to freestyle. He never really figured it out. We can replay that right here, too. Zerbia. Oh, wait. That was
I'd like to award Chris the award for most likely to have lost a comeback player of the show.
Yeah, I know,
award.
right? What a banner final segment here.
He only needed 3 more minutes.
Oh, man. So,
Close.
do we
I've
have
actually
it
never
ready?
been able to do that. I've actually never been able to do that.
All right, I'm going to leave.
I don't think that's it for Chris. I don't necessarily appreciate that it's harder to rhyme than you think.
What?
And you may. Are you saying that I'm the worst freestyler of all time?
No, I thought you did well. I mean, all things considered, I thought you did a good job. You're the one that said you couldn't.
It was very brave. I didn't do it. Very brave of you to do what some would call, on a purely textual analysis, rapping.
I would say that you all make me feel so comfortable that I'm willing to play without a net. And you should be too. We're good enough together.
Nice. The Batman and Robin Award.
Yeah.
Salute to Robin's
Why
family.
is it that I can't try to do things that I may not be good at?
I'd like to award Puerto Rico the Hated by Billy Gill Award.
I thought you were going to award them the 51st state. That you're going to make them the 51st
Hold
state
on,
today.
they can't get it before D.C. Jeez.
Why does Puerto Rico have a team? Out of context.
Do you want D.C. to be a state?
Absolutely. I mean, we pay taxes. We don't get representation. D.C. should be a state.
Taxation without representation.
It's true. It's not true.
It's really
Clearly.
not.
Are you rhyming again?
Ooh.
That one is on the license plate.
Bars.
What
Brad.
what would be your rap name?
Brad.
See 5 inches.
David Yablonowitz.
I love it.
That would be my name.
Where the hell did all of our white American boys go?
Is that the name of your rap group? Like your collective?
I'd like to give Pablo the award for searching for the American white boys today.
Where the hell did all of our white American boys go? We're trying to find out where they went.
Well, you can do a whole show.
I did, actually.
I think that there shouldn't be a mental health month anymore. We could do a whole segment just on snippets from today's show. Look at Chris. He's back.
I would like to award David Samson the saying what we're actually doing as if we should do that thing award.
Thank you. It's a good
I'd
one.
also like to award Charlie for saying that Daryl Morey fetishizes foul grifters award.
Spot the lie.
Oh, that's a hell of a slogan.
You guys familiar with raw dogging?
Oh gosh.